Hi, hello, welcome to Directly. It's episode 145 of our podcast. We're fanatixfour. I'm AJ of fanatixfour. I'm joined by Parker of fanatixfour. Hi, hello. We play video games and talk about video games and talk about podcasts and whatnot. You can support all
Talk
of
about
that.
podcasts?
Yeah, we
we
talk
do?
about podcasts
That's
here,
true.
dude.
Yeah, every
We've
once in a
never
while.
talked about a podcast before. We talk about
don't know.
podcasts. Anyway, you
We
can
talk about
support
food
all of
more
that.
often than we talk about
It's true.
podcasts.
That's true. We talk about food here too. You can support all of that at youtube.com/fanatixfour, twitch.tv/fanatixfour, where I stream every Monday, not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Sometimes maybe I'll do Monday. I got more time now. Sometimes when I don't write scripts for video, that's neat. You can hang out in our Discord, especially if you're a Twitch subscriber through Amazon Prime, linking it to your Twitch account. You get Prime Gaming as a free subscription on Jeff Bezos' dime. He gives us money, and you don't have to. You know, you get access to our supporters only Discord, where now you can suggest names for the Nuzlocke that I'm doing for the Pokemans that I catch, and also just hang out with other supporters. And we tell you new exclusive stuff that we're working on every once in a while and ask you for input on videos that we're doing and whatnot. Like I did this week.
True.
I sure did. Follow us on Twitter and whatnot. Anyway, are you playing video games? What video games are you playing?
Yeah, I mean, playing some video games. Let's see. I played a little bit of Scott Pilgrim versus the World of the Game. So that's fun. I haven't this past 2 weeks have been just very busy. My parents were here, and so that was busy. That's why I wasn't here last week. So I listened to, I think, the first half of last week's podcast episode, but never got a chance to finish it because again, it's been busy. But yeah, I did that. And so all that to say, I've played Scott Pilgrim. I think I'm on the third level now. And
did you play the original one?
No, I didn't. I'm either not very good at beat 'em ups or it's hard. It's fun either way. The only thing that I'm having trouble with, I think, is kind of like when playing Subspace Emissary. In like fighting games or whatever, like double tapping to sprint, and like that it doesn't feel always super consistent or whatever. Like I want to be more agile than I am, but it's a beat 'em up, so it's kind of like like walking around kind of slowly for the most part. So I haven't got quite a good hang of that yet, but it's fun. Every time you level up, you get a new like move or whatever, so you can do bigger combos and things. And that's been a good time. So I played a little bit as Ramona Flowers and a little bit as Scott Pilgrim.
I did that too.
Nice.
But I didn't play as Scott Pilgrim. I just played as Ramona because I played it once so far.
Nice.
For I want to say like a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing something else. Well, I was allowed to say what I was playing. Cyber Shadow also.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
I played that for more. So when I was playing, I played a little bit because I don't really have any connection to this game at all. Like I've seen the movie one time, I think, but like it didn't super resonate with me or anything like that. So I was like, I mean, this exists. I didn't know if the game came first or the movie, or like I'm thing that exists, I guess. So like the game was just like this is a beat 'em up. Right?
Yeah. So. There's definitely a lot of there's a lot of stuff that I found so far that's like fun references in it, and obviously this is based more on the comics than like both the movie and the game are based on the I don't know if it's technically a comic or graphic novel. I want to say comic, but I want to say comic. I'm going to say comic. But so yeah, I think both things are
on to talk about.
I know, seriously, I should have. Both things are based on that, and so I think there's more references that are being made to it than I'm aware of because I haven't read those at all. But the ones that I have noticed are very fun. So I beat up Clash of Demon Head a little bit. That was a good old time. Everybody knows what that is. That's Brie Larson. I beat up Brie Larson.
That's messed up.
And what was I gonna say? I don't know. Yeah, just it's a fun game. I'll keep playing it and let everybody know kind of how it pans out. But I like some of just a bunch of the nods that it throws in there to the movie. I think one of the things that I enjoyed most about the movie was just I knew just literally nothing going into it, so I didn't know it was a video game movie or music related or anything like that. Like I just went there with some other people, and then the movie started, and it was right up my alley, as it were. As soon as the Universal logo starts out and it's 8-bit theme, I was like, this is going to be fun.
This
And it was.
movie
So
was for me.
Yep. So that was one of the things I'm playing. I think I'm playing some other stuff, but I'll let you go next while I try to remember what else.
I'm playing stuff on stream, dude. I'm playing freaking Breath of the Wild. I'm playing Pokemon now and Smash. Because I was just going to do Breath of the Wild and then do Smash, and then like whenever new stuff comes out, rotate that in. But I need to grind in Breath of the Wild, and I don't want to like look for shrines and do like I don't want to do it on my pace on the stream for stuff like that. So I want to get like because I'm in the Lost Woods. I already got to the Master Sword, but I have 4 hearts because I've just been using my freaking orbs for stamina.
Nice.
Yep. So I'm going to grind a little bit for hearts, and then I'm going to yeet all those hearts back into my stamina after I get the Master Sword.
Smart.
But also I started Nuzlocke and Pokemon Sword, which I talked about a little bit in the intro, where supporters on YouTube and Twitch get to name the Pokemons, or if you just use channel points, you get to throw your hat in the ring in that regard. It's going, I lost two Pokemon, and both of them are my flying types.
No.
Both of them are flying
Rookity
types.
and who's the other flying type?
What is its name? Woobat.
Oh, yeah.
Bob.
Where are you at this point?
I think I just got into the first gym's town.
Okay.
At the end of the stream.
So with Nuzlocke rules, so yeah, if anybody doesn't know, Nuzlocke is like a set grouping of rules that pretty much makes hard mode for Pokemon. One of the rules I remember is you can only catch the first Pokemon of each area that you go into. How does that work for you in terms of the wild area then? Do you count
what
each
I'm
different
doing
segment
specifically?
Of it?
What I'm doing specifically is I'm only going to the wild area when I have to. So like when it's like, okay, you got to go through the wild area to get to the next town or whatever. That's when I go to the wild area, and I'm going to limit myself to being able to catch one Pokemon while I'm there. In whatever area I catch that Pokemon in, I can't catch another Pokemon there.
Right. Okay.
And then do it like that. So like rather than it being like I get one Pokemon per part of this area, it's like I get one Pokemon. That probably means like 3 or 4 Pokemon from the wild area, and none of them can be from the same part of it.
Yep. And how do you work? So like, because normally it's the first one that you see, and it's usually in older ones it's random encounters. So in this case, it's just like if there's a Rookity and like some other stuff on the same path, you just go to the first one that's visible.
Yeah, it's whatever one I run into. That's what I've been doing.
And you're not going to like try to avoid some intentionally or anything like that.
Sometimes I try to specifically go to certain Pokemon. But it doesn't always work out like that.
Yeah,
I have freaking 3 grass types or whatever. Like I have a huge bug type weakness. That's why it sucks, because I have a huge bug type weakness, and every time I get a flying type, it dies. So, it's like, oh my god, dude.
Man, that's fun. But yeah, so I joined the stream for a little bit up until around when Mega Man got to join, and then I had to drop off. But that was fun that he got to join, and he's done some Nuzlocks, or he does Nuzlocks.
Yeah, he's doing Nuzlocks. He's doing a randomizer
Emerald, right?
Of Emerald. Yep.
Yeah. So that's fun. Are you getting so much insight from him? Is he teaching you everything about?
No,
Pokemon
he didn't teach me a single thing, dude. He didn't teach me a single thing. The other part of it is that 4 channel points chat also gets to do stuff where it's like you're not allowed to do this, or like what was the other thing? There's something else that they're allowed to use channel points for. But there's also a rule that I said where it's like they can't just literally make it you can't play the game.
Right? Yeah.
Specifically, like in Smash Brothers, like what they tried to do yesterday was like no A button, and I'm like, okay. And then somebody else was like no B button. I'm like, well, I can't play the game. I'm not doing that. You get one thing at a time. The idea is to make it harder, not to make it literally impossible.
How long do those things last for then? Like
I'm letting them. It's like I think the description that because I just use like a default template and then change the whatever I needed to for certain things or whatever, certain like rewards. I think Twitch says like 5 minutes or something like that, but I'm within reason allowing them to set the parameter there. So like for Pokemon, people were like no items outside of battle or no healing at a Pokemon Center until your next town or whatever, like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In Smash Brothers, I was just doing for this match. So for this match, somebody redeemed no A button. So I was like, okay, no A button this match.
Right.
And then somebody redeemed the next match, no B button. Turns
Mhm.
out no B button is significantly harder because you're just dead. Like if you just I was mid-min, and it's like I can't come back if I can't press the B button.
Oh,
Then I don't
that's
have a recovery.
true. I
Yeah,
didn't think
it's
about
like,
that.
I was like, rip, dude.
Yeah, you got to pick someone with the tether recovery, I guess. But even then,
No,
if you're
Min
too far
does have
away,
a tether recovery.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to have a tether recovery that's with the grab. Yeah, like length
right?
or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what a
Min
time.
Min's tether doesn't work with the grab. It should, but it
Yep.
doesn't. She would be broken if she like
That's true.
If she could just recover horizontally and vertically, it's over for everybody.
Yep.
Like,
Otherwise, I'm playing. Oh, yeah, I am playing some other stuff. I'll go through some of these pretty quickly because I don't have a ton of new things to say on some of them. But like more Jedi Fallen Order a little bit. That's fun.
Nice.
I started playing The Outer Wilds, which I'm sure there's like 3 or 4 people listening that are like, yeah, finally, that's my favorite game. Because I've heard that that's the way it is for a lot of people. And so I mean, I don't know. I've figured out, I think, just overall the way that the game works in terms of the gameplay loop or whatever, like the concept of it. I'm very bad. Like a lot of the time you're in space flying a spaceship kind of thing. But you're in like first person perspective and using the like forward, back, left, right axis and up and down axis to try to like navigate planets. And there's also gravitational pull and stuff. I'm very bad at like actually, flying the ship thing very well. So that's one of my biggest problems, I think, right now is just the like mechanics of it. But I like the concept now that I figured it out, and excited to see where it goes in the future. So played a little bit of that, and then yesterday,
I still would never not confuse that game with the other game.
Outer Worlds. 100%. Yeah. They're both on Game Pass too, so like pretty much same thing. Which I would like to play Outer Worlds at some point as well. And I just upgraded today to Game Pass Ultimate for $1 for 3 months. So now there's even more games for me to play.
Man, that's that's crazy, dude.
I know,
because like so many people missed out on that.
I know. I mean, because then at this point, after this is going to be $15 a month, which is like, I mean, that's not. Like, it's still a great deal for all the things that it is, but like.
But before to the it was like you're robbing them. You were robbing them before. Yeah. But now 100%. It's like
it's like, yeah, that's right. It's a transaction. I can appreciate that. So, and then I tried out like 2 minutes of the Hitman 3 demo just to see how it ran. And it seems like, I don't know, literally just to report back to anybody else. Like, I don't know, go play the demo for yourselves if you want to, but it seems like it runs fine. So that's good.
Nice,
whatever.
Nice.
Not very important.
I downloaded the controlled one to play that, and I just never did.
I did it too, literally just to do it for 5 minutes, just to again see how it ran.
I opened it, and I think it was like right before the podcast or something like that. And I was like, "Well, don't got time to actually play it." So rip. So I don't know how that is.
Yep. But the one thing I did play that I wanted to talk about was I played the demo of Monster Hunter Rise again with Mitch yesterday, and he was able to teach me many a thing. So
I still know nothing. I played it with Ian. I don't know if I talked about that. I played it on stream with Ian, and stuff happened, I guess.
Did he teach you much stuff, or was it kind of just
he taught me stuff, but it was like a lot of stuff I did not retain that information at all. Or it was like even stuff like movement, where he's like, "Oh, you do like the bug grapple hook thing." Yeah, and I'm like, okay. And then like
what weapon were you using? Do you remember?
I tried the dual blades, and then I tried the great sword or whatever.
Okay.
I don't like the great sword. I don't really like the dual blades either, but it feels more user friendly.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Combat in that game just feels gross to me, but I don't know if it's just because I don't understand it, but it feels gross.
I think the thing I figured out with that game that's hard for me is that it commits more than I anticipate it to, just to things like I'll do a combo of some sort or like be halfway in the middle of something and want to turn the other way and do an attack the other way, not realizing that the thing it's doing is the thing I told it to do 3 kick spins ago or
Yeah.
whatever.
It feels like, and like Ian's friends that were on the stream with us were saying, like, they were asking me, well, everybody was asking me, like, how, like, what's your experience with this? Like, have you played a Dark Souls game? And I was like, yeah, I played Bloodborne and like some of the Dark Souls games, and it's very much so feels like Dark Souls, not Bloodborne. And
Right.
I very specifically do not like Dark Souls, but I love Bloodborne.
Yeah.
It's like Monster Hunter feels like Dark Souls, and what I don't like about it, it's
So
very slow.
I played with Seven left super good detailed comments on how to use the insect glaive. Also, Max told me how to use the insect glaive, and I read those, and I didn't retain it very well. But Mitch also uses the insect glaive, so that was the first one I did with him, and that's the one I feel like it's pretty technical in terms of like you have to, I don't know, kind of like some Smash characters where you need to like pick up certain, maybe not like a Smash character. I can't think of what it's like, but with the insect glaive, you need to like send out your bug to the monster for it to gather a part that'll like buff you in one way, then grab another part that'll buff you in another way, and then once you're like super buffed, then you can
shulk.
Yes, there you go. That's a good example. So learning that stuff was good and all, but I think that weapon feels more Bloodborne-y than Dark Souls-ish to me in terms of I don't know, just like I still feel pretty agile. It's one of the only ones you can jump with, maybe the only one you can jump with in combat other than using your wire bug. And so yeah, I enjoyed that probably the best. I used that, the dual blade, and the light bow gun. And I think this was the one I enjoyed the most because it feels agile, but also it wasn't like one damage, like 3 damage, whatever. It was like, 17 and stuff like that, which feels a lot better than like long combos of tiny numbers.
That's the other thing I don't really like about it. It's too much of like a RPG, like PC sort of game for me.
Like
where
counting numbers.
It feels like World of Warcraft sort of thing, where it's like I don't feel like I'm playing a game. I feel like I'm doing math. It's like,
the thing,
all the numbers jumping up like that. That's like a big thing about like Immortals Phoenix Rising that I didn't like. It's like weird and like this arcade.
Yeah, I straight up turned off the numbers in Immortals because I also don't like the numbers part of it. I do like the being able to see what's more effective.
Yeah.
Like, hitting it in the head, you're doing more damage.
That's the thing that's like, that compounds on. And that's also, I guess that's just universally the case whenever there's a game that they have numbers because they're like, the numbers show you. But the fact that the game doesn't show you through animations that you're doing the thing you're supposed to do is a failure on the design of the game.
And maybe it does, and it's just more subtle than we're looking for or whatever. But like, yeah, there's definitely
there's definitely moments where it's like it's either it's super obvious or not at all. Where it's like you don't really know that you're hurting the enemy until something falls off of them or they flip over or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
There's no like, ow, that kind of hurt a little bit, but not that much. Like it's like either you freaking are massacring them or you didn't even poke them, I guess. Like, and that's just a huge departure from what it.
No, yeah, I mean, I totally get that. I think so. All things considered, though, it was much better playing it with someone and somebody that knew what they were doing, so that I could learn a bit more, that kind of stuff. So
I'm still hoping to do that with Ian in the future when the full game comes out.
So far, nice.
I'm nonplussed.
I mean, and maybe I think maybe doing it off stream is easier too, because then they can take more time. Because we just hung out in the opening area because Mitch he's like, I beat this boss I beat this monster with somebody else a couple of times already. So I don't care about beating it really. It's like zero stakes. So we just hung out in the little like opening camp area for like 10 minutes, just swinging at the air for a little bit, figuring out what buttons do what. And I appreciated that. So I think that's everything I've been playing. I'm sure there's little bits and pieces of other stuff, but that's the main ones in any case. And then I've got another one from you that I haven't started playing yet, but I will have. I think we're embargoes next week, so I'll talk about that next week.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Those are all the games we have been playing, but let's talk about what games Nintendo wants us to be playing in years to come. And I'm going to share my screen. I don't know. That's that wasn't even really the best transition. But the idea for this was
The games Nintendo refuses to let us play.
Yeah, we just grabbed we were going to make our own tier list, and then AJ found one that was already made.
Yeah,
So it
because
might
that would
be
take forever. I gotta
it
freaking
would
go into Photoshop
100%.
and freaking
No, there's no way.
crop stuff find
So
logos.
we're ranking every Nintendo franchise that they have in here, which should be all of them, by importance to Nintendo. Is that what we decided? Or likelihood? It's kind of a mix of stuff, like importance to Nintendo, likelihood that it comes back if it hasn't come back, or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we can geek the haven't played on this list.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's irrelevant.
Indeed. I mean, the one category that here, I'm just going to add,
like names.
I'm going to add an other category. What in the world? Stop doing that. It keeps going away. Okay. I'm just going to, add a row below. And then I'll call this other. So anytime, like some of these might, because we don't know what all of theirs are, but like, some of these might not be specifically franchises, and maybe there's just one game that came out in it and it would be considered a franchise. I don't know what they put in here 100%. So, we'll go with that. But yeah, S tier. So this is the, I came up with names for this before, but backbone games, like the ones that you can
Marios,
watch
the
to them.
Pokemons, the Zeldas.
Exactly. You're ruining the whole thing. Now you spoiled 3 of them. Next one is can count on it. So there's going to be
the
one.
Kirby's.
Right, exactly. And then next is, I don't know what we want to call it, but they'll make one when it feels right. When it feels right. And then this next one is probably not making many or something like that. We can update these names. And lastly is it's dead, bro. Because it's dead. Cool. Something along those lines, we'll revise.
So how do you want to do it? You want to go down the list and say put them as we go down the list, or do you want to fill out the tiers in order?
Let's go ahead and just start with the ones that we know that we don't even need to look at the list. So like you said, some of these are going to be
Mario, Pokemon, Zelda.
Yep. So here, I got to find these. That's going to be part of the problem. So Zelda, this is 2D Zelda. Actually, how do we want to split up 2D and 3D Zelda? I want to say 3D Zelda is in the 3D top
Zelda
category.
is that's it. And then
2D Zelda is probably in the one under it.
Yeah.
And then Mario, let's see, where are you at, Mario? Where is Mario? This is not alphabetical, which makes things tricky. But yeah, Mario is definitely up there. Pokemon, we'll go ahead and put that up there because I see it. Wave Race, obviously put it up there because I see it.
My
god. Super Mario. Okay, so this is 3D Mario. That's definitely up there. And then, at some point we'll find 2D Mario.
I think 2D Mario is new Super Mario Bros. I think that's what they put that as.
Was it there?
It's on the top of the list. Scroll up.
Oh, okay. Yep, there it is. 2D Mario. Yeah, that one's a given as well. All right, cool. Those feel like just the obvious ones. Next one, you mentioned Kirby. I agree with that.
Yeah,
Kirby for sure there. Right. What else? Yoshi games feel like they might be in there as well.
Yeah. In the second tier.
Yeah. And then Splatoon at this point. I don't know. Would you put Splatoon
I think I would put Splatoon in the second tier.
Yeah. It's hard to say, it hasn't had enough time to know 100% where it's at. So that's hard to say. Animal Crossing is, at this point, it's in the top tier.
That's S tier.
And then, all right, Fire Emblem, that seems like the second tier. If it's just likelihood of it coming back, though, it might kind of be. It's not as important to them, I think, for their bottom line.
I think if Splatoon is S tier, so is Fire Emblem. Not S tier, it's A tier. So
yeah, I feel you. Okay, I agree with that. All right, so now let's just start to go down the list, and we'll.
Okay.
Life.
Life.
And I know so little about Tamagotchi Life.
Probably not making many.
Yeah.
Because like they've like said they wanted to, like that they still have plans and whatnot, but like
yeah,
I haven't really seen it.
Yeah.
Advance
Wars. Okay, do you just in general? It's hard to say. Like it could come back.
It could, but
I feel like not. I feel like they just traded out for Fire Emblem and Advance Wars is gone.
Yep.
Super Mario Party, somewhere between the. Yeah, I'd go with that too. Because I expect another Super Mario Party.
Yeah. I think we already know that they're working on it. Like they're hiring for it. Metroid I put in C.
Is that the probably not making many?
The third one.
This one, yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Wii Party. I'll put that in other because it's other. It doesn't really. Yeah, it just doesn't count anymore.
Diddy Kong Racing I would also put in other.
You think so? I was gonna put in its dead.
They kind of made two, sort of.
What was the second one?
They did it on DS.
Oh yeah. But so why would you not put that in it being dead then?
Because it's not a franchise, so like it doesn't even really count. Like, cause like if that's dead, right. Party should be in dead. Like,
Cool. Pokemon Stadium.
Dead.
I'm gonna say dead. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Balloon fights. I wish this would.
Yeah, not really a franchise.
So it's come back in some regards, like in the NES remix and stuff like that. But it's just not had a whole lot of games.
Balloon Fight 2 or whatever.
Mario Golf. I'm gonna put When It Feels Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Super Mario Strikers. Probably not making many. It might be dead, but it feels like you think so.
I think we're putting it in dead.
Sad.
I mean, it's just been too long, dude. The last one was on Wii.
Yep. Game & Watch. I'm gonna put that in other.
Yeah.
Picross S. That's. I barely think of that as a Nintendo thing.
C or B. Yeah, I would put it on C and B because they do it all the time, but they're not like.
Right.
It's not like something that you can set your watch to or that you would care. To.
Art Academy. Literally no clue. I'm putting it in other.
Yeah, other.
Steel Diver.
That's not really a franchise. They did that like once.
I hope they do something with that just because I don't know. It feels different enough from other things, you know what I'm saying? Where like that Dr. Mario's hard to say because of the mobile app.
Dr. Mario in D. Probably
in this
not
guy
making many.
Yeah. Honestly, the only thing that's bringing it back here to me other than being dead
the mobile game.
Is the mobile game. That's it. Yeah. Donkey Kong Country, When It Feels Right.
Plus, they did Dr. Luigi. That existed.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Last generation. They did Dr. Luigi on Wii U.
On Wii U? Oh.
Yep. During the year of Luigi, Dr. Luigi.
Oh. Okay, load faster than this. Wow. Yep,
there it is.
Interesting. What kind of, was it just pretty much the same?
It was just Dr.
setup?
Mario with L pills. That's what it was.
Okay, what in the world is Jam with the Band? That's going in other. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Donkey Konga. I'm just going to put dead because, really there's just one. It's other.
Yeah. There's two.
Yeah.
But.
DK King of Swing. I'm guessing really this just stands for just the original Donkey Kong.
Does it?
Other.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what.
It mentioned up here, old Donkey Kong logo is for Arcade One in the person that made this. So I don't know. I'm guessing that's the old Donkey Kong logo.
Yeah, we'll put another. Who cares?
I'm not sure.
Dylan's Rolling Western S. No.
I feel like it's not dead yet. Yeah. That's the kind of thing that I would like to see that come to because I don't know. I feel like that's something that would be interesting.
It's like a cool,
like
D tier.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Mario Sports Mix. That's kind of other by itself. 1080.
Dead.
Oh man, this is so hard. I'm putting it. Probably not making many.
There is just no way.
Hope.
There is
My
no
hope
way.
puts it
There
here.
is no way.
I control the
But if we're doing hopes, then put freaking put all three of the other ones in there. Like we gotta
Very
be real here.
so sad to my heart. But no, exactly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Nintendo's pretty much seems to be done with their like extreme.
I think the
games
gaming industry at large is done with
Yeah.
snowboarding, and that's why Nintendo is, because like 1080 was like their answer to a trend. You know,
Yeah.
it was like snowboarding's
was.
cool now. We can be cool.
I think
But
if
snowboarding's
SSX
not as
comes
cool.
back and does well,
Yeah,
then maybe
right.
1080 could come back and do well. But even then, like, I don't know that Nintendo.
I don't think they're that company anymore.
Right.
Like they cared more about trends back then.
That was
But
when
now
they
they
wanted to
do
update their
not.
logo to be more appealing to teenagers, you know?
Yeah,
in
and
the GameCube
like
era.
it was in the, exactly, like the GameCube era, like when they're
Uh-huh.
like, hey, we can freaking do PlayStation 2 and Xbox level power and stuff. We're more powerful than the PlayStation 2.
Yep.
Now
So
they're like,
sad.
we don't
I mean,
care.
the first game, I guess, was N64, but still, you know.
Yeah,
Magnetica. Have you ever heard of that ever?
no.
Not me. Something Japanese. Don't know what that is. Is that Beyblade?
I don't know. It'd be Agents Dead, Big Dead.
Yeah.
But also, is there even more than one of those?
I don't. I want to say yes.
There might be two, but
I
Dead,
think
either
only
way.
one of them was localized. Maybe is what it
yeah.
is.
Big Dead,
Yeah.
big old Dead.
Crosswords Plus. Other. I don't know. Xenoblade Chronicles. At
Hey.
this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I don't know. Is it the same as Metroid? Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
Yeah,
up there.
I think it's more likely than Metroid
Yeah.
at this point.
Luigi's Mansion, A for sure.
Yeah. A, if
Um,
not S. I mean, they just freaking acquired a whole company to
I know,
basically
right.
just make that. So
I'm gonna leave it A for now, but I
Yeah.
do feel
we could like put it like top of A
yeah.
when we order them or whatever.
You
Well, not
know.
top, like under. Well, yeah. I think it's more like, so. If we're ordering it, I would put Luigi's Mansion. Before, we'll order it when
We'll
we're
order
done.
Star Tropics.
Star Tropics dead, big
Dead.
dead.
Wave Race, unfortunately.
Dead, also dead.
Oh, so sorry, guys. F-Zero.
Dead. No,
Dead.
wait. Okay. That I think we put in probably not making many.
Really? I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. They're gesturing too much to F-Zero for it to not mean anything. You know.
I mean, I'm going by your rules here because in terms of like,
because I think like the rest of the ones that we put in dead, right? There's no real signs of life at
right,
all.
yeah.
But F-Zero, they bring up Falcon and marketing materials
Mhm.
more than you would think for something that's dead.
Yeah, right. Art style. I saw this one on a couple lists. I still don't know what it is. So
I don't know what it is either. We're putting another.
Yeah. Fossil Fighters. I'd say probably not making many. That seems like Dylan's Rolling Western kind
If
of thing
not
to me.
dead. When's the last time they did that? And how many times? have they
Surprisingly,
done
not that long ago. I think there was one
Uh-huh.
on the 3DS.
Oh, like didn't that start on like the regular? Oh,
I'm looking it up. Fossil Fighters. Doop-a-doo-doo-doop-a-doo. There's. Yeah, the last one was 2015 on the 3DS.
And how many are there? Yeah, okay. So
There's like three.
Yes, and they okay.
Uh-huh. 3 or 4, something like that. So that feels like, yeah, maybe they'll.
Yeah. There's no real reason to be like it's dead now.
Right, yeah. It is interesting to see the games that were ambitious for 3DS, like, I mean, ambitious more like, to me, Dylan's Rolling Western for a low price game and Fossil Fighters for lower price games or whatever, feel like they were kind of more graphically ambitious.
Right.
I wonder if those will bother to come forward. You know what I mean? Where like, if that would be too much,
they
where it's
occupy a
we don't want
weird
to do
space.
that much.
Like on a handheld, only like a traditional handheld console
Uh-huh.
where the conceit is that it's worse.
Right, exactly.
It doesn't really have a good place on a
Mhm.
console that's marketed as a
HD
console that
and
you could
stuff,
just so
yeah.
happen to take with you,
Yep. So either they work hard to make it look good for, today's standard, which even then, I mean, like, if it even looked like Bakugan, probably it'd be fine. Like, which at that point, the standards are pretty low. So, but otherwise they could do spin-offs using the same franchise name, but just make it look different. Battle Class. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, no.
So dead. Big Brain Academy is, I don't know. Is that the same as
Is that Brain Age?
Brain Academy? That's what I was wondering. Yeah, Brain Age. I'm trying to see if Brain Age is anywhere else here. I don't. Oh, Brain Training is down there. Okay, so it's not that.
So I don't know what that is.
Something else. Box Boy, obviously. When It Feels Right.
Yeah.
Chibi Robo, dead.
Seems
like
dead. Well, I mean, they just made one though, so maybe we put it in the tier above that.
Did they? I feel like it's been. No,
Is
you're
the
right.
Chibi Robo on the 3DS?
Ziplash. Yeah, that was 2014. It looks like. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
that's fine. Same as Fossil Fighters in that case.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
All right.
Custom Robo dead.
Yeah. See a Custom Robo. Puzzle League. Dead. That seems dead. Star Fox.
Oof.
I mean,
probably not making many.
It's somewhere between these
I mean,
ones.
Yeah, we could. They'll put it in When It Feels Right.
I feel like it's
because I mean,
waiting on a return.
Right. Track record wise, it only skipped Wii.
Yeah,
as far as we know, like this generation's not done,
and it was on
because
3DS as well during
and 3DS. Right. It was on Wii U twice technically, and 3DS once.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Guard, which were like one release, but it's technically 2 games.
Oh, all right. Continuing, Detective Pikachu. That's I guess When It Feels Right. Because
I mean, I think
we know a second one's coming for sure.
Yeah, I think we can count on it because we literally can.
Right. Yes,
like
exactly.
We know for sure that another one is coming.
Yep. The legendary Starfy.
Which I mean, with that logic, Metroid probably should go there, but I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, Metroid doesn't feel the same because Metroid went longer with it being a question mark than Detective Pikachu did, where it's like Detective Pikachu was a thing. It's never really not been a thing since it's been a thing, and we know for sure that there's another one coming.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. And it feels more about frequency in some regards than it does. Yeah, and more about
frequency. Yeah, like relative to like the amount of time that it existed.
Yeah, exactly. Legendary Starfy is
dead.
Magical Star Sign is I don't know what it is.
Don't know what it is.
I don't know what this one is either. Detective Club? I don't know. There's going to be a couple more that I don't know what it is.
Dead.
I don't even.
I mean, that's kind of other. I mean, it's kind of other. I think there's only one Fluidity. It was like a 3DS, sort of Dylan's Rolling Western level thing.
I definitely didn't just slide Golden Sun in there at all.
Oh my god,
that was probably a backbone game for Nintendo.
Big
I'm gonna put probably not making many.
Okay, fine.
It's my
whatever.
Yes, right, and it's
rumors.
Yeah, true. Brain Training, When It Feels Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what electroplankton is, but
that's what it is.
There we go. Calico Bit? No,
I don't know.
Calcio Bit? I don't know. Wario Land Shake. Well, I guess it's Wario Land in general.
Probably dead? Question mark.
Yeah.
Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time since that. WarioWare.
When It Feels Right.
Yeah, I was gonna put the tier below that, but no, I mean, there's pretty much one per handheld console. Seems like so.
Yeah. Again, it's another one that didn't skip a generation technically.
Right.
It's on Wii U. It's on freaking 3DS. Product by Nintendo.
Doshin the Giant dead, but I don't know that much about Doshin the Giant.
Yeah, I barely know what it is, but dead nonetheless.
Kid Icarus. That's hard to say.
We could put it in a tier above dead, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to agree with that.
Yeah.
Kuru, or something like that.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. Mario and Sonic. I mean, you can count on it. Honestly, I don't want to put it in with the rest of these, but there's one every Olympic Games. It feels like so, or one every like 4 years. Console.
Yeah,
I'm happy to put it in this one as well.
That's what I was thinking when it feels right, but
it feels like it's clockwork. It's just 4-year clockwork. You know what I mean? So it feels far away, but it's like we fit. I guess if we put, we'll put it with.
Yeah, we'll put it. It's not
Mario Kart. I don't know. I don't think we're getting any more Mario.
Oh my
Karts.
god!
Definitely not Mario Kart 9. We don't have any idea for that.
No, that's not ever going to happen.
Mario and Luigi.
I'm
gonna say probably not making many because there's still a decent chance that it comes back.
Yeah, like they still own the IP.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That wouldn't be too hard. Mario Paint.
Dead.
I'm just gonna say dead. Mario vs. Donkey Kong.
Dead.
I mean, I'd say dead or other because it kind of just, I don't know. It feels more like
I
know
think
there
they did
is a
make more than
series of
one.
it. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Sin and Punishment is dead.
Dead.
Another Code.
Never heard of it.
Style Savvy. Probably.
That's
maybe
like
coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially after Animal Crossing, I could see them just doing one at some point, you know?
Yep.
Endless Ocean.
Dead.
Clubhouse Games. When It Feels Right. Maybe even probably not making many.
Yeah, probably not making many is what I would.
Yeah,
I would put that there.
Ooh, Mario Baseball. I don't think so. I think that's dead.
Yeah.
Nintendogs and Cats. No, yeah. I'd say Nintendogs.
I don't know.
Is coming
probably.
back.
Yeah, I'd say probably not making many on that.
Paper Mario. Obviously, that feels like When It Feels Right, which really is once every 4 years. You know, something like that, more or less. Pikmin is.
I think When It Feels Right. I think it's when it's.
You think so
right.
at this point?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially after seeing how well Deluxe is performing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it
Plus,
looks.
I mean, by the logic of the tier overall, it falls in that category.
It does.
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
It hasn't missed a generation since it debuted. It's been on the last generation and is on the current one technically.
Yep.
So yeah, I think When It Feels Right.
Yeah. Man, that's funny to think about because like the franchises that haven't missed a generation, but were opener games on one and closer games on another feel like it's like, oh, it's 8 years between them. But like technically they didn't miss the generation, which I mean, that's not quite the case for Pikmin, but like reminiscent of that. Pilot Wings. There's no signs of life, but also it feels like the kind that they could just pull out anyway.
I think probably not making many. I think that
within
for them,
Nintendogs kind of thing.
That's like a brand that they want to like pull out when they want to show something. Like if they start doing VR, like actual VR, like VR, I can see Pilot Wings coming back.
Yep. I put Mystery Dungeon in When It Feels Right.
Yeah.
And we're almost done. Pokemon Rumble. I don't know. Dead? Yeah, I guess. Polarium?
Well, I think they did. I think they recently did a Pokemon Run. I think they did. It's like on mobile or something. Put it in the tier above.
Okay.
I mean,
works for me. Because what was the one they did? Pokemon. The Cube one. You know, whatever that one was called.
Yeah.
That's kind of took the life from Pokemon Rumble too. Punch Out. I could see. I feel like is in this category. Probably not making many. Where. We can get another one, you know, especially with next level games now, like, you know, whether they make it or there's something, you know, or they assist on something or whatever, I could see it happening. Pushmo probably feels about the same. I feel like we could get some more Pushmos. That was like pretty.
Okay, so yeah, the game I was talking about, the Rumble game, just for confirmation, it was a mobile game. They're shutting it down, or they did. No, they shut it down last year. So I would say that is grounds for like it's not dead, but probably not going to make it.
Yeah. Cool. All right, finishing up, we got Rhythm Heaven.
Probably not making many.
Yeah. Pokepark Pokepark.
They made 2 of those games.
The first one was I'm thinking of Hey You Pikachu, I think.
Yeah, there's 2 Pokepark games on Wii. I'm pretty sure there was not more than that.
This is the game for us here at Fanatics Foods. Personal trainer, cooking.
It's true. S.
Excite Bike. Ew, that's somewhere within dead or maybe coming back.
Yeah.
Probably dead.
Yeah.
Super Metroid. So 2D Metroid, I guess, is the idea. I'm going to say...
I'd say it's, same tier as regular as 3D Metroid.
Especially
honestly, I think
Samus
2D Metroid is more likely than 3D Metroid outside of Prime 4.
Smash is dead, so that's fun. No, obviously not. I put that in backbone games for the audio listeners. Mario Tennis. I guess with
When
Mario
it feels
Golf.
right. Yeah.
And Donkey Kong. Oh, what's this Donkey Kong then?
I don't even know.
Well, we put.
We'll put that
in
in
because I don't know what they mean by that one. Wii Sports, same thing down there. Mother, That's dead.
Dead. Yeah.
Wrecking Crew.
Dead.
Dead.
Is there even more than one of those either?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have
There might
no
be
clue
other.
what Quetzal's Corridors
Me
is.
either. Other.
And
I don't
this
know
one
what this
says
either.
Japanese letters.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Pokemon Coliseum is dead. And then Pokemon Ranger. All right.
Also dead. Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at our list. Wow. This is, there's a lot of, so looking at the dead ones, because this is the one where maybe we'd want to move something out of this if we decide to, but we've got Advance Wars, Pokemon Stadium, Super Mario Strikers, 1080, Elite Beat Agents, Star Tropics, Custom Robo, Wave Race, Puzzle League, Starfy, Fluidity, Electroplankton, Wario Land, Doshin the Giant, Mario Paint, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Sin and Punishment, Endless Ocean, Mario Baseball, Excite Bike, Poke Park, Mother, Wrecking Crew, Pokemon Coliseum, and Pokemon Ranger.
Literally, the only one that I think has any chance of coming back just for the fun of it is Mario Baseball. That's literally it. So, like, if we want to order it, I guess put Mario Baseball. Well, I don't know if we want to waste our time ordering the
that's right.
And we should probably just order the top two.
Yeah,
Mario Kart for sure.
At the top
for
at this
sure.
point. And I still like, even though Animal Crossing is best selling, I still think it like
is it? I think Mario Kart's still best.
No, yes. Sorry, I meant outside of Mario Kart. I mean,
I think that we go. I think we go Mario Kart, Pokemon, Mario, like 3D Mario.
Yep.
2D Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing. No, Smash Brothers, then Animal Crossing.
I agree with that. Yeah. As far as especially tried and true, like that's I don't know. That seems like the best way to go.
Yeah. And like even though like Smash Brothers or whatever is
sells
likely
more than,
to outsell a 3D Mario or
the Animal Crossing would outsell something else.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I think Mario and Zelda are still more core to the identity.
Yeah, they're much more, and maybe that'll change in the future. We don't know. They're much more like Nintendo checking off boxes level franchises than Animal Crossing is in the grand scheme of things.
Can count on it. So we got 2D Zelda. Okay, so top of this, I don't think 2D Zelda. Splatoon, I would say,
Splatoon top of this list because it's like borderline-esque, but we just don't know for sure yet.
Yeah,
I think that's probably true for Kirby too. And then Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
No, then Yoshi, then Luigi's Mansion.
You think Yoshi before? Yeah.
Because just frequency wise, we know Yoshi comes more often than Luigi's Mansion. The only reason why I think that Luigi's Mansion in the long run is going to edge out Yoshi is because of the investment in next level games.
Right. And just Luigi's Mansion 3 obviously doing way better than like Yoshi's Crafted World.
Yeah, right.
And any recent Yoshi, forays and stuff. Like,
Yoshi's
one of those that, like
Zelda too, honestly.
Yeah, for 2D Zelda. I mean, because that's the interesting thing is now that we're in the world that's not separated by handheld and, in the Switch world.
It's just like, what is the actual reason to make a 2D Zelda game? And it's pretty much just like, as far as sales go, we don't really have time to make a full 3D one right now. So we'll put out a 2D.
And I mean, diversification and stuff like that. But like
obviously there's fans of the 2D formula and stuff like that, but I don't think that matters as much. I think it's literally just like, that is then the reason of them being like, yeah, we can okay this because there are people that like it. But I don't think that would be enough for them. If they had if somehow they could have a team dedicated to that and like the financial side of that wasn't a concern, that wouldn't be the reason why they would do that. Is because of the people that like it, because those games don't sell well enough. If you're going to invest in making another Zelda game, it's going to be the 3D ones.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think overall, like there's some kinds of games that just Nintendo always has, they finish one and then they start on the next one. And I think 2D Zelda is one of those kinds of things, but they also don't set their clock to it.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't even know if that's true. I don't know if they're starting another 2D Zelda game. The only thing that would even make me think that we're getting another 2D Zelda game is that Grezzo exists.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's
exactly.
It.
I feel like they've just probably always got Grezzo working on, something in that regard.
Super Mario Party.
I mean, the rest of that feels about
yeah,
right. Super
I
Mario
think
Party
that's right.
honestly could move up a little bit in terms of some things, but
Yeah, I just don't know if we know. You
right.
know?
Yeah.
Like everything else
Mhm.
feels right.
Yep.
But Super Mario Party is now like this weird thing because it
Yeah.
like went on a hiatus after 10, and then it
Mhm.
came back, and then we were like, oh shoot, this freaking game sold 10 million plus units or whatever.
Right.
We're gonna
So how
get
much of a
way more of
hiatus
these.
Mario Party 10, what year did that release?
It was like early Wii U.
2015. And then
Yeah.
I don't know, because then Super
So I was
Mario
like
Party
mid
was
Wii U.
2018.
Yeah, but that's a
Mario...
hiatus for Mario Party. Mario Party used to be like every year or every other year.
Yeah. So that's 3 years. At which point, yeah. Well, because
That's a whole 2 Mario Parties they could have made.
Mario Party 9 was what, probably 2013. Oh, it was 2012. Yeah, so there was 3 years between. It looks like, I mean, maybe if we're going by this, they're on a 3-year cycle for Mario Parties
now,
at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which, reasonable. Yeah. All right, cool. And then this next category, when it feels right, let's the top of this. Oh,
yeah,
I feel like Mario
the top
Tennis,
of this is
maybe.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And
Mario
then
Tennis, and then I mean, golf might be ahead of Mario Tennis, honestly. But
in terms of number of games, I think you're right.
Yeah, but we didn't get a Mario Golf on Wii U, but we got a Mario Golf on 3DS. So.
Yeah. So there, I mean, they're somewhere in there in any case. Camelot's just always working on
Yeah,
which means Golden Sun is. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
I specifically, this is specifically to Brad.
The higher Mario Golf is, the lower Golden Sun.
I specifically didn't mention Golden Sun in my video this last week for Brad, 100%. So that's a fun thing. And then, oh man, it's so much harder once we get into these because it's more ambiguous, like,
yeah. I think
like Paper Mario. Okay, I think Paper Mario's above Metroid.
Yeah, Paper Mario's above.
It's still every 4
Metroid.
years, pretty much.
I think Picross is above Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
I think Donkey Kong is above Metroid.
Yep.
That's like
although that probably had more of a hiatus.
I think that's the barometer.
Is Metroid?
Yeah.
Box Boy. I don't know. Some of these other ones are kind of.
I think Box Boy's fine where it's at.
Yeah.
WarioWare, we can move up. I think WarioWare is probably
above Star Fox for sure.
I think
Mario Sonic as well, probably.
Yeah, I think Brain Training is also above Star Fox.
I
think
Pikmin. No, probably there-ish. Like, well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's there. I think it's there.
So that's after Brain Training, before Star Fox.
Yep. And then
Mystery Dungeon.
It's like borderline, probably not making many.
Yeah, right. And then we'll quickly do this one, and then we'll just do a last overview, and then that's what it is. Oh man. With probably not making many, this is hard. Honestly, I'm gonna put Nintendogs up there because I think it still feels pretty likely.
Well, maybe we put Dr. Mario at the top of this since there's a current Dr. Mario product.
True. And then Mario and Luigi somewhere up here as well.
Yeah.
I'll put Golden Sun down at the bottom just to be nice.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, I don't know Tomodachi Life.
So we could I'd say put Pokemon Rumble right before Tomodachi Life, just based off similar logic of like, there's a thing that's semi-current,
Clubhouse Games is a weird one because like we know it's active, but it's also like that'll be the last one for a long time.
Yeah, we know it's active, but we know that it's something that they don't have a pressing need to make more of.
Right. So I don't really know what that means for how within our logic.
Where it is. Yeah.
Because it could be towards the top or it could be towards the bottom.
Yep.
I'll put Pushmo World above Dylan's World.
I don't even remember Pushmo being even mentioned in this, but yeah.
It came up at some point, I guess. And which of these other things? I don't know. The rest of these, it's just hard to say. Punch Out seems more likely than F-Zero to me.
Yeah.
Pilot Wings.
I think Style Savvy is more likely than F-Zero.
Yeah, probably so.
I
Fossil
think Kid
Fighters
Icarus is more likely than both of those.
Yeah. Chibi
Maybe
Robo seems
not
down at the bottom,
F-Zero.
right?
I don't know if I would put it over F-Zero. I'll put it
For
right,
Kid Icarus?
yeah, right behind F-Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhythm Heaven. I don't know. The rest of this feels pretty arbitrary as far as like these ones.
Yeah, those ones. There's no real.
So, at which point, that's pretty much our list because all these other ones they're just dead. You know.
So you think we keep Mario Superstars there, or we move it up to probably not make it many? It's top of dead.
Mario Superstar Baseball. Yeah, we can move it up under Golden Sun though. I'll only make that. That's as much as I'll give it.
Hard bar.
So there it is. That's okay. So the questions now we have for you guys listening is, I guess, just like, I mean, we have fun talking about dead franchises sometimes. But like, which
ones do you care? What are your top 5, completely disregarding what we have as this list? Let us know if you agree with the list, just like pseudo objectively, like based off of some line of thought that's more than just, I like this one, I dislike this one. Because the list would be completely different if
100%.
Like freaking Pokemon Stadium would be an ass because both of us agree on that. Like that sort of thing. But this is just based off of what we think is likely and unlikely. But what are the 5 ones that you like the most?
Cool. So let's get in. First of all, we have comments from your video. You talked about Pokemon a whole bunch.
I did.
Script, which is different. And then people commented about it.
It was very strange. I think I talked to you about like my trajectory with that video. Where it was like when I first filmed it, I was like, that felt good. Like that felt like I said something that people would like feel like they didn't waste their time watching it, you know? And then I edited it and I was like, this feels even better. And then I uploaded it and I was like, I don't know. Like up until like when the video actually went up and then people were like, I like this format. It seems the same. Like I was like, okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah. Cause like it ended up being just as much time to make the video that it usually is. But that time felt better spent because instead of spending hours scripting the video, I spent 25 minutes talking at the camera and then I spent hours editing it. And I feel like that allows for a better video.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, definitely then if you can like spend more time doing editing stuff to get like, because ultimately that's the thing, I guess, that affects, you know, the final product is what it looks like and sounds like and stuff in terms of editing. So I tried to do that with, I mentioned to you, but last week's video, like not this one I did this week, but the one before that. And I did the intro unscripted. And then I was like, I'm just scripting this out loud pretty much.
Yeah.
Instead, and I'm just retrying the same lines over and over. I'm like, this is not working. I'm just gonna script.
That's more or less what I did. Where I was like, I kind of scripted it out loud, but I talked for like there weren't that many strings. Where it's like there would be something that like I would just talk at the camera, like I'm talking to you right now, and then I would say certain things where it's like, it doesn't really fit with like the storyline that's in my head, that like I'm editing the video in my head as I'm talking.
100%.
I need to add this. So I would the first string of recording I did for like 16 minutes. And then I filmed another like 9 minutes or whatever that added to things that I knew that I said, that could have used more context or more like, I talked about on stream where it was like, there's the bit about like the Breath of the Wild comparison that wasn't really there in the first thing, but I was like, I feel like this is a good thing because it's there. It's definitely there. It's more for Pokemon Snap than it is for regular Pokemon games, despite everybody being like, we want Pokemon to be Breath of the Wild. So it felt important to talk about that, where it's like, I don't think people are excited enough about Pokemon Snap other than the people that are just like, it's Pokemon Snap, you know? And those are two different
listening
people.
to Scootish Jackson last week, that was obviously like, it was one of those where I wanted to talk through the camera kind of thing and explain like, oh no, like it makes sense that you're not excited about it because in premise it sounds dumb, but here's the things, the scripted moments and those kinds of stuff and like secrets to find, like that's the fun part.
There was that sentiment a little bit in the comments where somebody was like, it's a game about taking pictures. Of course, it's not going to be big.
Right.
Like, I mean, that can be said about a lot of things. The example that I gave, I was like freaking Death Stranding is a game about making deliveries, and that game's
Right, yeah.
40 hours long, you know, like.
Yeah. I think the thing with this too is like where it could fail sales wise, but succeed still. I mean, it's not going to fail sales wise, but like where sometimes the moments that people see or the like viral moments that don't translate to sales could be the same thing where lots of people saw really cool Mario Maker levels and then would watch more Mario Maker content, but wouldn't actually want to play them. So I feel like it could be things where people see like looking up lists of like the top 10 coolest Pokemon Snap, you know, moments or something like that.
But I think it really just depends on how well they do it and make it feel like that. Because there's, they just need to make sure that the engine does as much work as possible and it feels less scripted.
Because that's the thing with the Mario Maker bit that's hard is like you have to be good enough at Mario to do some of these levels, or it's like auto ones, and that's kind of fun but not really fun. So with this, like same kind of thing, it's got to be user friendly enough, which I mean I assume it is, if you know it's like the first game. User friendly enough where it does cool things for you.
It needs to be both that and also feel open enough that I can't just get the full experience by watching somebody do it on YouTube.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. The control element of it is important. So yeah. It's coming out soon, honestly. Like
it's super close. Freaking April 30th. Like that's ridiculous.
It's kind of crazy that all the games
like a holiday game.
Yeah, right. It is kind of crazy that all the games that we know about, besides No More Heroes 3, that are confirmed 2021 games
super close.
Are really soon. Yeah, which you know either means, I assume, means good things, that like that means there's a lot of games that we still don't even know anything about,
or a huge window of time where nothing. That's like the pessimist take on it.
So we'll see. But here's some comments from your video. So M56DK says, I never played the original Pokemon Snap, so this is my chance to see what is the hype of the series is given the many Pokemon you can now take pictures of. As for the graphics of this game, I know Pokemon Company is separate from Nintendo mainline, but even they could use some delays to get the next game in the mainline series up to graphical standards, right?
So I responded to this, but
saw your response.
I'm interested to know if your take on it is any different. I mean, yes, but no. Like the problem is that they're separate. Because if they were just a Nintendo company, Nintendo's bottom line is based in video games. They make the most of their money from their video games. So them investing more money and making more video games makes sense. But Pokemon Company makes their money in merchandising. Video games is like a third of the revenue that merchandising makes them. Yeah. And that is less than a fourth of the revenue overall, you know? So it's like, if we can spend more time and money making better and more appealing merchandise, sure, why not? Or we can spend more money making the thing that makes us less money, you know? It doesn't really help beyond the goodwill of the people that buy the video games, which is fine, I guess. But the only way that I can see them justifying that in their head are two ways, I guess, is either they go the prestige route where it's like, we want to be like a well-respected company or like a well-respected video game company, you know, and hope that they can profit off of that. Or they find some way to make the games more appealing to the people that are, or like vice versa, that are going to buy the merchandise, you know, like for somehow the games to drive the merchandise in revenue and not just in concept. Cause that's really all they do, is give the rest of the brand fuel, where it's like, okay, this is what the game is going to be about. These are the characters in the game. And then the other branches take those things and run with it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before, but like the problem in terms of mentioning like using some delays to make the next game in the mainline series up to graphical standards. Half of it is the merchandise cycle, the 3-year cycle that they have that hopefully, like we've talked about a bunch of times, maybe the DLC being, you know, slapped in there pushes that out further. Right. Maybe
the DLC and the anime, like how the anime is right now, where it's not based in the Galar story. Like really, if they really wanted to, they could super delay it, because right now it's not about the gym challenge or nothing like that. So they could do this storyline, and then when that storyline's done, make it about the Galar region gym challenge, and then go through that storyline, and then do Gen 9.
Yeah. So like that's half of the equation. And then I think the other bit, like you were talking about, is kind of the return on investment of just like, is it worth it to them to spend, millions more dollars to make the game look considerably better, probably, to make a couple more million fans buy in, maybe. But really, I mean, make a significant amount of the current fans happier with it. But like, how much does them being happier equates to the amount of money that it costs to make that happen, So like, yeah, I think for them, it's probably hard to do that. But I do think they have the best chance of ever, like we've said before, right now, of making the next game better. The other thing that I think is possibly helpful is another thing you mentioned in this video, that like maybe some assets can be, repurposed or whatever from this other game. But that's something that I find with recording music and stuff, is if I can get a template for like, this is the way that like I've got my amp plugins and like, just all the plugins already set there, that I have to do the least amount of work. Like I do a bunch of setup work so that the template is right. And then I can record stuff into it, not have to think about like adjusting tone and doing all that kind of production stuff on the front end. And I can just do some of that on the back end. If they can do that kind of thing where they set themselves up really well so they can focus more on, the other parts of it, then that could really help them. But it does sound like going into this game, from the rumors that we heard, that they tried to future-proof themselves and maybe it didn't work the way they intended it to, or something like that. Like the models didn't translate over.
Yeah, I think
something, I don't know, but
I think it's less about that and more that like they future-proofed themselves. They did that, but they didn't do it for long enough, right? Where it's they future-proofed themselves for the entirety of the 3DS generation, and the beginning of this one should have been them transitioning, and it maybe is. Maybe they are transitioning, but we can't really say one or the other.
Right. So hopefully that's the case, is if they can do a decent amount of setup work so that they can spend more time on polish and less time on framework kind of stuff, that would be good. But it also, like, I'm sure it's also a challenge compared to Call of Duty, maybe something like that, where they don't need to invent the concept of guns every time, but or like, different kinds of monsters or something like that. Whereas with this, I mean, maybe they need just some of that. I don't really know. But
or think about balancing how the decades at this point worth of guns in theory, interface with the new ones, like that.
So there's definitely like elements of that make it trickier. We're like, I mean, especially within the balancing kind of thing, taking Smash as an example, the fact that it takes, 5 months or something, I don't know, to make one new fighter character because of obviously models and, figuring out the moves and stuff, but then like balancing that with everything else. Yeah. Like, and that's just, I mean, it's a lot of
that's just one character
within 80 characters, as opposed to 100 new Pokemon within 1,000 Pokemon. So,
exactly.
It's like, I think there's a lot of things that we don't take into consideration, but hopefully they can do things that can remove some of those barriers, and make it easier for themselves.
Yep,
that's the goal. I very much like this next comment because it's funny. Eduardo Colgan said, "How dare you talk about Meganium like this? Yes, she isn't super memorable, but she was a friend in Gold, and I still like her. Then I went to Cyndaquil and Crystal for variety."
So that's another reason why I like this format, because it's a lot easier to just work in my sense of humor.
Yeah, right.
Than it is on script, because writing jokes feels weirder than just making them, Yep. Like, and that was another part that went in the edit, because I went off of I was talking crap about Meganium for way longer than that. I was like, all right, this is too long. But yeah, no, Meganium is garbage, dude. In every way, literally. Like,
I do remember, like, I mentioned that that I just think it's a little bit odd that Meganium's like the front and center one, and I do wonder what that means for this game, if it's a central story Pokemon in some way, or
I was talking to Lee
if they're
about this,
trying to set it up somehow to be more marketable Pokemon in the future.
Yeah,
for
that's what I was talking to Lee about
something.
this on. I think it was just a Discord call where we were just hanging out. But it was like, is this like Meganium's redemption tour? Like, is this like the thing of like trying to make Meganium cool? Are we going to get some sort of like Let's Go sort of buff? You know, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee buffed Pikachu and Eevee for those games. Is that what's going to happen here with Meganium?
I always do think it is funny thinking about it though with starters that their first forms are by far their better. They're more familiar forms. Even,
well, I mean, with the
true. With the sole exception, I know that's the only one I was going to say. I think Charmander and Charizard's probably the only exception, but definitely people in general would know.
But I think that's the case.
Cyndaquil more than Typhlosion.
Like the one that's like the design that people resonate with the most is the one that people. So like I think
like people think of Chikorita way more than Meganium. You know,
yeah, more people like the design of Chikorita than they do the design of Meganium, and I think that that's true for every other starter Pokemon where that's the case, right? Like people like the design of Greninja more than like the design of Froakie.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, like it's really like the Pokemon over Litten or something.
Yeah, the Pokemon peaks at whatever the masses like more, you know.
Yep. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah,
Pikachu over Raichu, so on and so forth.
Next comment. This is the Frosted Firefly said, "You guys seen the website for this game yet? It's not a whole lot, but they do have info regarding character names, what the glowy Pokemon stuff might be, etc. It's pretty neat, and I can't wait to play this game." As you said, yeah, I'm hoping that the new Pokemon Snap has a lasting effect on the mainline games. Personally, I've always been the type of Pokemon fan who cares more about the world of Pokemon more than simply battling them, so this kind of game 100% appeals to me. I hope they can find ways to make the Pokemon world more immersive in all their future games, spin-offs, and otherwise going forward. To me, that is what the evolution of the franchise should look like, rather than the battle mechanic one-offs like Z moves and Dynamaxing.
To answer your first question, no, I did not see that.
I
saw like, the website. I've seen some information from just people randomly saying like, oh, this character is this or whatever. Like a lot of people are going crazy over the professor because it was like at first people had like theories of like, is this Todd? It's not. And then it was like, I saw a lot of people posting the picture of like his assistant or whatever. But I don't really know anything about that. Like that's like the sort of thing that's like, I'm gonna wait to play the game to figure that stuff out. So no, I haven't seen that. But yeah, I do agree with that. I don't really like, I've talked about this a few times where it's like, I get the battling system. I know a lot about it. I engage with it. I have fun with it for what it is, but I don't play the game for that. I engage with that because that's what I have, you know, or it's like, I like Pokemon. I want to be in this world and this is what you give me to be in this world. So this is what I'm going to use, you know? But if it was up to me, they would nuke it and do something entirely.
Yeah. I feel like, to me, I mean, we'll talk about this in more detail in future projects of sort, but for me, it's like somewhere in between. Cause like, I wouldn't want, I don't know, it to feel more like a fighting game or, you know, like that kind of thing, but something still where it's you are the trainer, you're not the Pokemon, because I think it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. And also like control wise, it would be weird to be like, and now you're the Pokemon battling in this thing, but like you're the trainer still telling the Pokemon what to do. But then there's more engaging mechanics within that, but it's just not like,
I think there's ways to accomplish both, because it's like,
exactly. I think it's a middle ground for sure.
And I think that really that's what needs to be done, because like when you're in Pokemon, you're not just the trainer. Like when you're playing as that's what the gameplay style is, because of how the interface is, where it's like, oh, you press the thing, so that means that you're just a trainer, but like you have a health bar, you know, and when your health goes down, your trainer's health bar isn't like, you know, like you're the Pokemon losing health right now. So they need to kind of mix that with the gameplay and make it, I don't want it to be a fighting game. I think that it should be an action RPG. It should be as much an RPG as it is an action game, where you can win by being smarter than somebody or by being mechanically, like, understand the game mechanically more. Just like in the anime, where it's like, Ash wins battles not just because he's like, oh, it's type advantage or whatever, but he
Mhm.
uses other things around the world and his Pokemon, like knowing them specifically better
Yeah.
than the other person, but
I mean,
you
and
know,
like,
stuff like that.
and loses them for the same reasons
Yeah,
exactly. Where like
exactly.
it's like, what, I should be strong against this people, and it's like, well,
Exactly.
but they are better than you.
And it's
You know?
and it's not just math where it's like sometimes
Right.
Ash does make the right decision. He's like, yo, that dude used Sandshrew, I'm going to use Squirtle, and that Sandshrew's like, nah, man, I've freaking been molded in this. I dive every day. You know, like that sort of situation. Like I think that is more true to the world that they set up, because even in the games they set up stories like that where it's like, my Pokemon's way better than that, he
Right.
doesn't give a crap about lightning type attacks or whatever, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't translate the gameplay. I think that it should translate the gameplay.
I agree.
And that's why the whole thing of like, you just wanted to be Pokken annoys me, because I don't.
Right.
I very much so do not want it to be Pokken, but I
Yep.
want it to be more than just pressing a option on a menu, because I think that that's it's too narrow for what Pokemon sets itself up to be.
And especially, I mean, yeah, just I agree. We'll talk more later. I agree. Chip Corley, last comment on this one, says, I agree with the point, but the on-rails nature makes it a bit less immersive than a free-roaming shooter, for example. I still love some Snap, though. It's my favorite Pokemon game.
Specifically, he's talking about when I said that, like, people complain about Snap, like where it's like it's just taking pictures or whatever, but like shooters are basically that. And I think that like that's fair, but at the same time, not really, because like it's kind of like people complaining about Super Meat Boy Forever before that came out, and it was like, you don't even get to press forward, and it's like the game knows what you want to do. So they just took that part out of it where it's like, we know you want to be pressing forward, so we'll press forward for you. And it's like, yeah, there's like the illusion of the ability to go different places in shooters and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you are on rails. It just lets you walk into the dead end every once in a while.
I think, yeah, I mean, there's definitely like thinking about a Safari or something like that, or so I've one time been on a Safari. It was very cool, but there was also a large amount of time where we had to drive around, and like the person who was driving the car was communicating with other people that were driving other cars, and they were like, hey, do you guys see any elephants around? And like they're like, I don't see any elephants around. So we just drove around, and someone was like, oh, we found elephants over here. So then you go find them and stuff. If it was a more open area, it would be a little bit harder, I think, to guarantee moments, you know, and then also just guaranteeing that like the minute to minute gameplay is always, there's a risk reward there for sure, where like it could be that like maybe the more downtime does mean that it's more rewarding for things to happen, but you could also run into that like situation from like,
I think if Pokemon
I was going to say the situation
wasn't
from
on rails,
I
think if Pokemon Snap wasn't on rails, it could feel more rewarding to find a Pokemon and be like, oh shoot, I found that thing, and it wasn't the game leading me there. That makes sense, but I'm just saying specifically to the comparison of shooters where it's like the story, like the campaign that's typical in a shooter, it is effectively on rails. They have you walking down basically corridors, but you get to control the analog stick, and that's about it. You know, or it's like you still have to go on the set path that the game wants you to go on, but you just get to choose when you do it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think to me, like I hope that there's some kind of more freedom within the on rails here, where like choosing paths, like that there's you know, forks in the road, those kinds of things. But as far as being on rails, I think it for what it is, it makes for easier for them to be able to set up better situations for us to experience that if it weren't on rails would be a little bit harder, actually.
Right. Yeah.
I think
I agree.
to guarantee that we could all, you know, actually experience each of these things and stuff. So
I agree.
that's what I think. And yeah, that's it from your video. So now we got comments from my video. And these will be mostly short because it was mostly just factually kinds of stuff. But talked about some games coming out in February, and that's fun. I'm sure there's going to be more that come out, and hopefully some good ones. We'll see. But here we go. Cool said, these all look great. The only one I'm 100% going to play as soon as I can will be 3D World. The rest will have to wait, especially since I'm back in uni now. Didn't know about most of these, though. Thanks. I agree. 3D World looks dope. There it is. That's that.
I mean, I was waiting for you.
Go for it. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know about most of it. Like, even we were talking about just in the DMs, like freaking Bravely Default 2 or whatever. I was like, that's coming out next month. Like, I had no idea. But yeah, no, February for me is pretty much just 3D World. But
and like Persona 5 Strikers is a big deal, but it's not a big deal to me at all.
Yeah. Same.
So that's the thing.
Even
there's a couple of the games in here that like it's that kind of thing where like it's important to mention these, and for somebody that'll be huge, but
for me specifically, don't.
Me specifically, maybe not. Pack Blitzky left a bunch of wonderful comments. This one says, another game I'm excited for in February is The Flower Collectors. It's a mystery game coming February 11th, and it's got a demo, so you might as well try it. It's also 10% off for the next few weeks. I saw that one.
I think Cyber Shadow's doing that. Where like when first drops
demo?
is cheaper. No,
a lot of games.
But like,
a lot of
like
indie games are doing
out,
that.
it's like cheaper.
The Flower Collectors. Yeah, I remember seeing this one. I think, this one looked neat. I don't know why I ended up not putting it in my list, but I didn't. But it looks cool. Yeah, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Should be fun. But yeah, a lot of games end up doing that whole like it's 10% off for the first like as a pre-order or for the first couple days or something like that. Alec said Bravely Default 2 and Persona 5 Strikers. I'm going to have a busy February as an unapologetic.
I can't even see. I tried to see if that's what I can't see Cyber Shadow's price because I have it.
Cyber Shadow Switch. I don't know. I think it'll show me mine because I think I downloaded it from yours.
Oh wait, do you still have the tier list?
Did you? I literally just closed it. I should have taken a picture.
See if you can go.
I'm reopening closed tab, seeing if it saves it. Yeah, I thought about that earlier. I was like, I should take a picture. Nope. Oh yeah, it's still there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, save a picture. I was just thinking thumbnail. I don't even care about the posting it otherwise.
All right, so Alex said, I'm going to have a busy February. As an unapologetic Squeenix fan, super excited for more Bravely Default, especially since the game uses my favorite mechanic from the Final Fantasy series, the job system, which I almost mentioned that in the video, but I forgot to, or just didn't. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, that's something that I like the job system.
Yeah, it sounds cool and concept, but it's not cool enough for me to want to play the game.
Yeah. I still haven't played more than 2 hours of Persona 5. I got it after it had moved away from my PS4 being my main system. I'm still so excited for Strikers, and maybe it will make me return to Persona 5 and turn on my PS4 for the first time since April. Also, if you guys have any Bravely Default questions, I got you.
Let us know. All we need to know. Tell us everything we need to know.
The last comment,
specifically, tell Parker everything he needs to know because that's his
true.
Game. I don't even care.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I will be playing it. Go Fish Goldfish said, would you be interested in streaming on Twitch any of these games? Nuts? Bowser's Fury? I need to figure out streaming
Bowser's
something.
Fury, but that's I don't know about Parker. It's completely up to Parker, dude.
Yeah. I at minimum what we need to do is when Bowser's Fury, that's multiplayer.
Yeah,
so we should stream that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think me, Bob, and Dan are supposed to stream it. So there's another person. There's 4 people.
I am another person. Look at that.
100%.
A whole human being.
Just play that. It'd be a 4th person. You know?
All right, that's it from our videos, and now we're on to the last segment, Q&A. On YouTube community, we've been doing some polls the past couple times, which has been fun, and I think people. Like literally several weeks ago when I posted the question, I went to look, I logged in as somebody who watches all of our videos to see if the poll or see if the post came up on my homepage at all. And it just straight up didn't. And I was like, goodness gracious, YouTube's just not even showing that. And even though, and it didn't even max out the community posts, and it had stuff from other people from several days ago and then wouldn't have ours. And I was like, wow. So, but doing the poll seems like people see it more and also get to interact with stuff, and that's always fun. So the question I asked this time was whether you played more handheld, docked, or about even, or if you were a time traveler from the past, and so you don't believe in technology. About 4 people are apparently time travelers from the past. So,
Oh shoot, that's crazy.
yeah.
How'd they know how to vote on the poll? How far in the past?
That's the question. I did think that was a little bit of irony of the, like, you don't believe in technology, but you're using technology.
Yeah, you're voting on the poll, dude. Also, you traveled from the past. How did you do that?
We'll never know. So the first comments are just ones, people saying stuff about that. Benji890 said, handheld / tabletop with a better stand. Fran the Man 06 said, people play handheld?
Oh my God.
They do. Yep.
Yes.
Brandon Wernick said, I play YouTube on Switch. I need a new controller because of stick drift.
Oh my God. See, for me,
hmm.
I very much so do not care about YouTube on Switch. Literally, I debated it for a second. I like started it, or I technically did it, but I didn't do it how I wanted to do it. I was going to use this TV and play Pokemon Snap trailer on the TV when I talk to the camera on the Pokemon Snap video, but I just played it through once, and I forgot that I didn't mute it on Streamlabs, so it was like playing it, like the audio of it, so I was like, I can't use this tape.
Oh no.
So I just left it where the release date was on there or whatever, but it really didn't matter. It was really just more things to fill out the background visually. I forgot I was going with that. Oh, I literally just use YouTube on Switch for content. That's it. And it's like, it's annoying even more so because it's like that has like HDCP protection for some reason. So like whenever now, it didn't always happen to me, but because my Switch is plugged into my my capture card, it is like, you got a capture card plugged in, you can't go on here. I forgot what I did to disable it for that specific. Oh no, that's what I did. I didn't use the YouTube app to watch the trailer. I used the video app the news app and watch the trailer in the news app, because YouTube doesn't work when you have a capture card plugged in. It's very stupid. But it works on the Xbox, which is how I stream this Sephiroth thing and how I plan to do direct streams or whatever in the future if we do those. Because
I've only used YouTube. I think like
in the computer screen.
Yeah, I've only used YouTube on the Switch, or like maybe like once or twice. The one thing that I thought was interesting was it was so much easier to search for stuff, because I'm really used to like, using controllers and stuff, where as opposed to like beep 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 click beep 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 click, it was just like tick 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 tick, and I was just typing stuff in like lickety split. So that was fun. Or maybe it wasn't typing stuff in, but it was just like going around from like different parts of YouTube. That was a good time. But otherwise, I don't use it on there.
But I will say I appreciate YouTube on the Switch and other consoles, because people that watch them there watch them longer. And that's literally the whole reason why I'm okay with them being there. Or not okay
Probably
with them being there, but
though,
like,
right? Like, are they?
Yeah, less engagement, but
but still, yeah,
it evens out if you freaking watch 7 videos at a time or whatever. Like, I'd rather you watch 7 videos of ours all the way through in succession than to comment on even one video.
Yeah. Everybody hear that? You have to listen to every single video of ours, no matter what, every day. Just
so you got 2 options: either you comment on every video you watch, or you watch at least 4 of them at a time. That's the way you can help out the channel. We're
so generous and gracious with these things.
I mean, it's not us. If it was up to me, freaking watch the video one time and that's it, and not comment if you don't want to. But YouTube's dumb, so
YouTube is dumb. A name that I don't know how to say because it's in a very different alphabet said, I play in tabletop with a Pro controller. So there you go. And then, okay, now we're getting into like questions and stuff. Shiro3 said, should the Switch have entertainment apps like streaming, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and music, Spotify?
I think for music only if it's like a background thing. Like if somehow they can get it so that it supports it when you're like playing games or whatever. But other than that, I don't know many people like Spotify especially seems like something that is like more of an adult thing to have, and want in that format. You know what I mean? Like where you're just going to play music and that's it. Like I don't know many kids, and I say that because the streaming apps, I think the best use for them is if your kid has a Switch, they don't have a phone or a tablet or a laptop or, you know, like that sort of thing. That is what the use I see for entertainment apps on the Switch, because kids are more likely to have a Switch than they are to have a $700 computer, laptop. I mean, tablet or whatever, you know? So like in that scenario, yes, for the streaming services. Music, I don't know the use case for that.
I think there's definitely use cases. I mean, like you said, for music, if it can be in the background, and then for the streaming services and stuff, I feel like there's enough use cases that they might as well try to have them, because it would be helpful, you know, just to have them. But
yeah, there's no negative to it for Nintendo,
right?
Unless they got to pay for it or whatever. I don't know how that works.
Kids, obviously, and then also, like, you know, my friend's situation where his PS4 broke, and it was either buy a new PS4 or he kind of wanted to switch, but that was like his machine. You know, they didn't have a smart TV, so that was their thing. So like, might as well try to cover that very small pocket of people probably at this point that don't have any other way that they're planning on watching Netflix and stuff.
Right.
But for the most part, I think it's fairly inconsequential, but might as well.
Yeah, it's definitely that sort of thing. It's like, it doesn't really matter, but it would be cool, I guess.
Yeah. Go Fish Goldfish said, "Hey guys, thanks for the vids this week." You're welcome.
Thanks for watching them.
Also, thanks for the recommendation on Lonely Mountains Downhill a couple of weeks ago. I'm really enjoying it. Although the actual riding a bike can get intense, the sound of nature are super relaxing. Maybe I need to get outside more, LOL.
Nice.
I think the thing that I enjoy about that one, relaxing wise, is that for the most part, each individual like run. So yeah, it's for anybody who doesn't know, it's like you'll, you know, ride down a mountain or whatever, and it's kind of challenging, but it's kind of like Celeste in the sense that like a whole level is really long and a whole level is really hard to do in one go, but you do like little segments at a time. Yeah, so you just do a segment, you crash, it goes immediately back. You do a segment, you crash, you do a segment, you crash. And so it's fun to do those and try to get better at them. But I also, other than the couple challenges that are like, try to do it in fewer than this many crashes, other than that, I'm like, I can crash as many times as I want and I don't care at all. And I'm going to try to go for fun strats or whatever, but I don't really get frustrated by it because it just throws me right back into it. And there's no consequence for dying, you know? So reasons I like it. And then continuing on, in response to the above poll, I play mainly docked, but I think that's because of the types of games that I play are more suited for it. There's some games like Wargroove and Pokemon, which have gameplay roots in handheld that I prefer handheld. Also, I realize that if I want to listen to a podcast while playing a video game, I'm more likely to pay attention to the podcast if I'm playing a game in handheld rather than docked. Interesting. I could see that. It feels like I think in handheld to me, and maybe it also informs the kind of games that you play, but it feels like it's less the focal point maybe to where it's easier to like half and half your attention rather than like 75-25 or something like that.
I mean, handheld for me is definitely like a thing that's like, I want to play a game and not really think about the game I'm playing. Just like by the nature of it. So that makes sense.
Yep. Good comment. Thank you very much. Moving on. Alec Kleinman says, when do you think
there can only be one? You got to fight the other one to death.
When do you think Nintendo would release the rumored Pro model in order to maximize profits? I keep hearing rumors for an E3 release, but the current Switch console is still selling quite well. Maybe they wouldn't be worried about cannibalizing sales of the standard Switch because the Pro model would be geared towards core gamers. I don't know. Thoughts?
I think Nintendo cares very little about cannibalizing sales just generally. I think they're super confident in like the longevity of the products they release. The only time that they avoid cannibalizing sales is like in these moments, right? Like there's no reason for them to announce this thing right now. Because all that would do is make people hold out. But if both products are on store shelves, there's reasons to, or all three, there are reasons to buy all three. Even when the Pro comes out, there will still be people buying the regular Switch and the Switch Lite. So
the only time in recent memory that I can think of them sort of quote unquote caring about cannibalizing sales was the Wii U to Switch transition, where they were like, they didn't care about it cannibalizing sales. They were like, there are no sales of the Wii U, so we're going to just murder it. And like,
yeah.
but other than that, yeah, literally.
But even
like,
then, like they didn't like they didn't really do anything to like make the Wii U any less or more attractive.
They just didn't make more.
They
of them.
just left the Wii U how it was, right? Because they already had more. So it was like it's not so much a thing of like Xbox, I feel like is a good example, and PlayStation to some extent. Well, actually, arguably more PlayStation, that actively are trying to kill off the chance of more options outside of what they want people to buy.
Yeah,
like PlayStation and Xbox publicly say we're no longer making this thing anymore. Buy the next thing. PlayStation specifically did it in the shady way of like, I don't know, maybe we'll make Spider-Man on PlayStation 4. Who knows? And then like a week before, they're like, oh yeah, buy it on PlayStation, and also Horizon's coming, and also maybe God of War, you know? But Nintendo doesn't really do that. Like if a game's coming out, it's coming out. Sometimes they do the polar opposite of that, where it's like, we don't think that Mario and Smash are going to come out on the same day. Because, like, why would they do that? Spread it out. And they're like, yeah, no, it's coming out on the same day. Like, Nintendo very often releases big things within the very small window.
I think as far as, yeah, I mean, so for the Pro model, I think that's definitely, I mean, what we said as far as like, that they'll live side by side and it'll be fine. I mean, I kind of envision it pretty much like the 3DS was, where it's like there's one and then there's another one. And then as soon as something new comes out, then the first one will die out. So there will always be two things, in this case, three, because the Switch Lite. And so like if something new comes out after the Pro, then at that point, I think probably the base model will fall off and the Pro will stay there. Something along those lines. But like,
I think it depends on like where it is, like what its vertical is. Like the 3DSs or handhelds in general, they'd drop things that don't really fill a different niche or one that is like beneficial in any way, right? Where it's like they effectively stopped selling the regular DS when DS Lite came out, because it was just a DS but better. You know, like there was no real reason, and it wasn't like more like DS Lite wasn't more expensive or anything like that. It was just like, here's another DS. So that gives them reason to drop DS Lite. But Switch Pro, in theory, just is a third pillar. Where it's like we got the cheap Switch that you can buy for your kid and not worry if they break it, because it's a whole half a Switch Lite cheaper than the regular Switch. And then you have the regular Switch, which is like the jack of all trades sort of situation. And then you have this theoretical Switch Pro that's just better at everything than the other ones, you know?
I think for me, like pretty much when exactly it happens doesn't matter all that much. It's just that they're going to announce it and release it within a month and a half, probably, you know, something like that. And that's it, you know, like and so whether that's sooner rather than later doesn't really matter. Probably has more to do with what games they want associated with it or coming out at the same time as it or something like that. So that's something we don't totally know, but I could see that happening honestly within the March kind of area, or within the June kind of area, or within the September kind of area. And it's, you know,
I think it's complete. I think it's tied to like production more than anything, honestly. Like as soon as they think they can have a solid launch of this thing, is when it's going to come out. Because in theory, if this thing has been planned and they want it to come out, they already have games that are lined up where it's like, hey, this thing's coming out and it's going to, you know, so like, I don't think Nintendo's the type of company to make people wait for the console to come out for them to release their games. They'll just retroactively say, oh yeah, and also these games have support for pro features, you know?
No, I agree.
Their games maybe will be the ones that they're like, oh yeah, and also this is launching day and date with Switch Pro as like a marketing thing.
Next comment. This is from Cool, who says, I've been playing through Jedi Fallen Order, and we recently got the announcement of a new Indiana Jones game. So it made me think, what popular media franchises would you like to see more games from?
Pokemon.
He goes on, but let's answer that first.
Pokemon. Black Panther.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of MCU type stuff that would be fun. Superhero kinds of stuff.
Static Shock game, dude. Cowards.
Maybe I don't care that much about horror games, but it would be interesting to see a different kind of Stranger Things game, something like that. That's not, because the first
Not
one's
that 8-bit
fine.
or 16-bit or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So that could
I
be
didn't even know what game was
interesting.
out.
The Witcher. I don't know if anyone's heard of that, but no, just kidding. Yeah, they made. Yeah, it's been out for a while. I think the Stranger Things 3 game. I think it came out like July 4th of 2019.
The makers of Witcher 3.
But it just like came
yeah,
went.
I didn't even know. I saw the announcement for it on like
Mm-hmm.
a direct or something, but I didn't know the game actually came out. But I haven't seen a full episode of Stranger Things. So there's that.
It's good. I enjoy it. I mean, at this point, like, everybody knows it. So it's probably one of those where it's like, oh, it's too popular, or it's like popular, so therefore it's not good kind of a thing. But no, it's still, I'll just say this real quick. I have some qualms with it in that I think the arc that they used for the first season was good. And then they repeated versions of that same exact arc for the second and third season, more or less, with a couple tinkers that I'm like, I just really hope they don't do that again for the fourth season, which pretty much is like, let's split everybody up so that everybody kind of feels a little bit on their own, doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know the full picture of everything that's happening. And then right towards the end, we'll get them all together and then things will be great.
It's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, right. So pretty much, so that's what they've done so far, and I hope they diversify from that in season 4. But I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see.
I literally can't think of other things that I watch.
Yeah,
more Lord of the Rings games, but like that are, like I don't care about Shadow of Mordor or whatever, I don't think. But I'd be down with more Lord of the Rings games, stuff like that. So. Nice. Good question. I wish I had better answers. Continuing on, Google says, also, we've all been saying that since 2020 didn't bring a lot of new games from Nintendo, and that other than games we already knew about, Bravely Default, No More Heroes, possibly a lot of unrevealed games were also delayed, so 2021 will be amazing. What games do you think might have been delayed? After Age of Calamity, I doubt that Breath of the Wild 2 was supposed to be in 2020, since they obviously want us to play that before we play Breath of the Wild 2. And if we get anniversary collections and and remasters of Zelda games this year, I can see Breath of the Wild 2 being 2022 and definitely not this year. What do you guys think?
I think that the games that in theory got delayed, either we know about already or there was no reason for us to guess them coming in 2020. It just like the sort of thing that's like, here's the games that we have for our 2020 roadmap that like we need to prioritize, and those are the ones that are going to come out. Maybe they got delayed like the Mario stuff. There's reason to believe that stuff was supposed to come out way earlier than it did, like April, rather than November. And like 3D World, instead of being in February this year, coming out November last year, sort of stuff. As far as like the other stuff that got delayed, I have no idea. I don't think it's going to be, or it would have been any other Zelda stuff. I think they would want to hold on to the bigger Zelda stuff for this year. But other stuff, I think it will be stuff that is going to come out this year, and maybe it was meant for last year, but we never would have guessed it. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, especially after I agree. Looking at this list of things, like I don't know what of these franchises that aren't on Switch or haven't been on Switch recently or anything like that. Like, what of them would have specifically made sense? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what the holiday game for 2020 would have been if not what already came out, but I feel like there could have been one, like maybe a really big Star Fox game or something like that, but like also that's just as likely to very not happen.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say for sure. Yeah. I
think holiday might have been this year's spring. Like I think holiday could have very well been Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I think they even confirmed, well, like in the background confirmed that game was supposed to come out last holiday, right? Maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, no, you're right. And 3D Worlds and Bravely Default 2, No More Heroes, those kinds of things. Yeah, in which case, I mean, that still would have been a good holiday. It's going to be a good first quarter from that too. So, I mean, it's possible the Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, spring of 2022, but
yeah,
I don't know. I still feel like
I think the only way
this
it's coming
year.
out spring in 2022 is if it got delayed. I
Yeah,
think they
right.
want it to come out this year, but it could be a Mario anniversary situation where it comes out March or whatever, right? March 3rd for them to be like, it's the anniversary of Breath of the Wild, at least, you know? But I think they'd rather do like, it's the Zelda anniversary.
Yep. Shiro3 asks, what past AAA third-party games would you love to be ported to the Switch? Past AAA games that has a high chance of getting ported to the Switch. So I guess that's two different things, but
Past AAA game, third party.
I'll go with the second one first. I feel like we're seeing the Mass Effect trilogy come over to other consoles. I feel like that's something that could come over later to the Switch, just like at some point.
Yeah.
Freaking more of those kinds of things.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
I want that because the game's cool. I like it. I don't
Otherwise,
care about the story or nothing like that. The gameplay loop is fun.
I'm really bad at answering this question. I think just because I only started caring about games again around the Switch time, so I'm harder pressed to find
I'm
games
bad.
that I'm like, yeah, I care.
I'm bad at that because I don't really care about third-party games.
Right.
Like I have the other consoles and stuff like that, but most of what I play is first-party games on those other consoles.
Right.
But Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain is an easy one for me because that was like one of my favorite games last gen.
Yep.
So be dope on Switch.
Yeah. I'll say not for me at all because I don't care particularly, but past AAA third-party game to be ported to the Switch, Master Chief Collection. Something that's like, just because it would be wild, to see that it's actually happening, that kind of a thing. But like, again, I don't care for me personally at all, but it would be fun to see it happen. So, I'd be down with that. And I think I have a lot of answers that are like that, like Kingdom Hearts, because I know a lot of, like, Alec would be really happy about that. Those kinds of stuff where it's like, I care more on behalf of other people than I do for myself. But, yeah. Matthew Krause says, as a newer parent of this was in response to the handheld versus other stuff. As a newer parent of a nearly 1-year-old daughter, congratulations, I play mostly handheld throughout the house. It leaves a lot of flexibility for catching a few minutes in different games here and there. That said, I would much rather play tabletop. The Joy-Cons are much more comfortable when I split, and I don't have to strain my neck looking down at the Switch when I play handheld. Docked is too much of a commitment. Oh, and playing handheld makes my hands cramp and thumbs fall asleep.
Yeah. I don't have children, but I have nieces, and I was watching I was watching both of them technically, but the 10-year-old niece, she mostly watches herself. She goes and does whatever she wants to do, and if something happens, she's like, "Uncle AJ, blah blah blah." But I was watching my youngest niece, and I was like, "Yeah, no, playing games is impossible. Can't do it." Maybe it'll be easier when she's a little older because she's 4 months, but.
That's very little.
It's not. It's not happening with a 4-month-old.
Yeah, that's funny. I look forward to kids.
To a 4-month-old.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'll definitely agree with a lot of docked. I mean, even to me, who doesn't have any kids and stuff, docked feels like a lot of a commitment sometimes, and sometimes that's the commitment that I want to have. But other times, and also the Joy-Cons, like I play handheld for the convenience factor of it and like the fact that it's nice to be able to play handheld, but as far as actually like enjoying physically playing handheld, I need to get a satisfied grip is what I need to do, because it's not particularly comfortable. I do like the Joy-Cons when they're separated, but I don't like playing handheld just physically very much, because same thing, like my pinky falls asleep because I use it to hold up the Switch a little bit, et cetera, et cetera.
Rib, dude. But also, I mean, we talk about that a lot too. That I feel like console games, just in general. So, like, yes, docked feels like a commitment. Like, it feels like I'm doing a thing, and I have to be hunkered down to be actually playing this game in that way. And especially like now that I'm streaming, even more so, it feels like I'm working.
Yeah,
so it's like I don't want to play a game like this, dude. I just want to like freaking lay down and play handheld or something.
That's right. I need to get a satisfied grip. All right, moving on. Matthew Grass as a separate one. I know. As a discussion topic, what do you think the chances are of Nintendo getting into VR? The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that they will have a VR product of some kind. The Switch already has some VR capabilities with Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, and Labo, plus the 4K games development rumors and more powerful hardware of the alleged Switch Pro would help in the quality of the VR experience. I think that Nintendo has wanted to move towards VR ever since the Virtual Boy, and now devices like the Quest have proven that technology is ready. Prime 4 is the flagship VR title.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I could see it. I mean, it definitely wouldn't, like, I don't anticipate Prime 4
I don't know if
anyway
it could run that.
like right.
the Switch Pro had to be like significantly more powerful for freaking Prime 4 to be the flagship thing that they do. Like, I do not know about that.
I mean, Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are pretty intense games, and they run in VR technically, you know.
I mean, they do, but they don't. Like, it's not the entire game that runs.
No, yeah, exactly. So that's what I was gonna say is I don't think even just for
it might have VR features, yeah,
yes.
like for sure.
I
don't know.
I
if
could
it would
see that
be
happening.
A VR game.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, I mean that's definitely something I feel like has come up before that we haven't gone into a whole lot.
Yeah,
but
I think
Pro
Nintendo cares about VR. I think they have an eye on VR. I don't
Yep.
know if they'll like fully blow out their plans for it now, like maybe next gen. But maybe I can see them like dipping their toes in again here, and then like really going all out next generation.
I think it's enough of like they like some gimmicky stuff, and they've got 90% of it there. It's just the like strength of the machine that's really the problem, you know. And so like if the strength of the machine and like the better screen and those kinds of things, which that sounds like one of the things they're investing in the newer, you know, Switch or whatever, is a better screen. So I mean, it could definitely be something that they want it to be able to do well, even if it's not like a main feature and there's not a lot of games that are like really focused around it. But they also like, that would be one of the biggest VR platforms just right off the bat too, because you know, so because there's a ton of VR games that have been developed and are sitting on PSVR and sitting on
but they need
Quest
like an extra
like
thing to do it, and it's like you already have the VR thing. It's just like some sort of like cheap accessory or whatever
peripheral thing,
to complete the product versus buying a $200 plus
right
set of goggles that you then have to plug into your other plastic box, you know. Like
yeah, I could see that being a really big sell for them to get, you know. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of VR games that already
I just see like VR
plop them over.
I see VR for them right now as the wild area equivalent in the transition to open world for Pokemon. Like I think Switch proper is going to be, and possibly even Switch Pro is going to be the wild area. The swap is going to be open world Pokemon.
Yeah, I can see that. Good question. Yeah. Moving on to Twitter questions. Pat Green said, what is your favorite Mr. Bean episode? Mine is easily the Christmas one where he gets his head stuck in the turkey and all that.
I have never seen a single one. I thought Mr. Bean was a movie.
There is a Mr. Bean movie, maybe even more than one Mr. Bean movies.
That's what I thought, that it was like a movie franchise. Didn't know it was a show.
It's not, but the episodes are longer. I think it's like, if I remember right, form factor wise, because it's been so long. I remember like so many moments of Mr. Bean things, but I don't fully remember. I want to say they're typically like 30-minute episodes that are 2 15-minute episodes together a lot of times, where like SpongeBob or like not Jimmy Neutron, but Fairly Odd Parents or something like that.
Was Jimmy Neutron not like that?
Maybe it was.
I don't remember.
Fairly Odd Parents definitely was.
Yeah,
so,
Fairly Odd Parents.
They're in the same bucket in a lot of ways, except for Fairly Odd Parents is so much better. But all that said, my favorite one.
Yo, that's weird. That's weird because I used to freaking like with the Jimmy Neutron movie. I loved that movie when I was a kid. Like that was like one of my phases of like it was Christmas. I was like, Dad, I want you to go to freaking Toys R Us and just do the arm thing.
Yep.
In the Jimmy Neutron section. But once the show came, I hated the show. Like it was such.
Wait, the movie? There was a movie first before the show.
Yes, it was a movie, and like it was a a theater movie first. And then they made a show after the fact.
I don't know if I just started on the show because I think that's when we moved to the States was when the show came out, I guess. I don't know. That would have been 2002. So maybe, or I just missed a memo or something. I don't know. But I watched the show first and foremost, and I thought it was, fine.
I hated the
So
show.
weird, man. My mind's a little bit blown right
but
now.
I loved the movie. I might hate the show. I mean, the movie now.
Yeah.
But when I first saw it, I was like, yo, that movie's dope. Jimmy Neutron's dope. Yeah, like it made $103 million at the box office.
All right, I'm going to answer the Mr. Bean thing.
It came out in 2001.
Before I forget.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that checks out. Okay, so Mr. Bean. I don't know that I can say full episodes easily, but my favorite, I guess these are episodes. The one where he's taking the test is very good. The New Year's one, which might be within the same one as the Christmas one, I don't remember, but the one with the twiglets and stuff for anybody. Yep. And what's the other one that the mini golf one where I'm going to set the scene for you, AJ. Mr. Bean goes into a putt course and wants, to play, but he's being kind of a jerk or whatever. And so the owner is mad at him, or the guy working, the attendant. And so Mr. Bean goes around being all like cocky about how good he is. And then he hits the ball, and at one point he goes off the course, lands in the grass next to a chain link fence, and he goes to pick it up. And the attendant's like, hey, you can't pick it up. Like, doesn't say it because there's barely any actual talking, but shows that you can't pick it up.
It's like the slapstick stuff.
And the rest of the episode is Mr. Bean just like whacking the ball all across town into funny places, into like old ladies' hats, and
it's with the golf.
It's with the golf. And then at the way end of the episode, it lands on some grass, and he finally realizes, he gets a knife and cuts grass out around it, picks up the chunk of the grass, brings it back to the putt course, and just knocks it in the hole, and then writes down 826 on his little chart of, and it's just a funny old slapstick time. Good question, Pat.
I never knew. I learned something new today. You learn new things on Directly to You, apparently.
You do. Chris the Butte asks, okay, so after months of trying to buy a PS5 and then being sold out within seconds, me and a minority of people online are kind of over getting one. I don't even want to get one now because all this hassle with no result. What's you guys' opinions? Do you still want a next-gen console?
I have one. I have the Xbox Series X. I'm in the space that I'm in with a lot of big third party, where I was for Cyberpunk and Kingdom Hearts 3 and stuff like that, where it's I want one. I have no pressing desire to get one before it feels the need that I have for it. So I haven't really been trying to get one now because I know that I only want one when Ratchet and Clank comes out. So right now I'm I hope that they get this, I hope all of this gets out of their system before that game comes out, because that's when I care. Right now I currently do not care even a little bit.
Yeah.
Never even tried to beat the pre-order line or anything. I never sat in a virtual queue for a PlayStation 5 because I already had it in my mind that I don't want one until Ratchet and Clank. And when Ratchet and Clank comes out, I might get the digital one. I don't even care enough about it for that, it's the sort of thing that I might play 2 games a year on that.
Yeah, I feel I obviously don't really care one way or another. I feel like if I were in your situation and had cared and had been defeated so many times, I would have stopped caring by now as well. I just feel I'm going to focus on something else. Because when I went to buy a Switch within launch month or whatever, there was probably about a week or so of me really looking for one. And then I found one and it was great. And then I got it. If it had gone on for several months, I just don't know if I would have kept trying, at that point in time. Maybe, but maybe not too. Kind of depends.
The only time that's ever happened to me ever is the Wii. Because it was the only time that I was engaged at all and before something came out, as a kid. Most other times it's I wasn't super active in gaming to I know the release date of this thing. I would just get it that Christmas, and it's okay, cool, I got the new thing. But the Wii was the first thing. It's I know before it comes out, and I know everybody wants this thing. And I freaking called Target, and they were like, "Yo, we got one at 6:00 or whatever," that sort of thing.
That's fun.
That was the closest that I ever got to that. But everything else, the Wii U was the first one that I bought with my money. I didn't pre-order that, I don't think. But I got it, I want to say the day after it came out or something, because I was looking for it. It was out of stock everywhere. And they were it's going to be out of stock till like March or something. So whenever you get it is when you get it. And then I got the white one because of that, like the 8 GB basic model or whatever, because that was the one that they had, and I was like, that's what I'm going to buy.
Yeah.
Little did I know
Little did
that
you
they
know.
had plenty of stock.
Next question from Tony or Low Rule Legends said, what are the best grass water fire starters?
So I put up a tier list just to have it all in my head, which one's which. Best grass starter is Trico. Best water starter is Froakie. Best fire starter is Charmander.
I would say, I mean, I also have less familiarity with some of these.
Yeah, you play like 3 generations. Totally.
Yeah, and then I'd say Squirtle for water because Squirtle, obviously.
Yeah, because you're dumb.
Squirtle's my favorite. That's
like
just the way it is.
Squirtle's cool. He's cool, but he falls off.
For variety, I'm gonna say, I like Cyndaquil, not because I don't know. Cyndaquil is just cute and fun. I mean, Charmander's better, but like for variety, I'm saying Cyndaquil. And for grass, that is a little bit harder. Man, Trico's a good choice, honestly.
He's the good one. The only like grass ones that I like look at, I'm like, yo, that's a cool Pokemon.
Wait, Rowlet's a starter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Rowlet.
Yeah, Rowlet.
Yeah, Rowlet. I like Rowlet. But Rowlet's like not even what I was gonna say. The grass Pokemon, I'm like, yo, that's a good Pokemon. Not even like obviously not Battle and Ball, because usually grass is just the worst type. Is Snivy and Trico. Those are the only 2 starters that like if the Pokemon were real or something like that, and it was just based off of looks. Like there were like no stats involved or anything like that.
I don't know how I feel about Snivy. I always feel weird about Snivy for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. It looks.
It's a freaking snake, dude. It's a cool snake.
Yeah. Man, I really don't know Snivy's evolution line. I'm realizing now.
Snivy evolves in the Servine, which is meh. It's very mid. But Serperior is cool. Except like the only thing that makes like Serperior like less cool is that it has like the little arms.
Is this Gen 6?
Gen 5.
Gen 5. Oh, it's black and white. Oh yeah, I really don't know black and white, I guess. Wow, yeah. Oh yeah, and like, that's
it's weird like
against stuff. Idea, I don't know them at all.
Yeah, the idea of generations kind of falls off of me after 4. Like 4 is like the thing that in my head when somebody's like Gen 4, I immediately know, oh, it's these Pokemon. But everything else is like in the context of Gen 4, where it's like Gen 5 is immediately after Gen 4, so that's these not like Gen 5. Those are the Pokemon, you know. Like I gotta take another step. Like even Gen 8 to me is like that. Even now, I'm like, wait, how far is that after? Oh, okay, it's that Pokemon. You know.
No, I get that. Kraus commented, "Soggy cereal greater than sign."
No,
maybe.
I mean,
is soggy cereal better than anything? I don't know if the greater than sign was a typo or was on purpose.
I think.
So maybe we're ranking it over something else.
I think he's just saying that soggy cereal is better than everything.
Oh,
I disagree.
Blasphemy.
I think there's some soggy cereal that's better soggy than it is regular, but it's a very small list.
That I can't even imagine that list. I honestly, that's the reason that I don't love almond milk in my cereal, because it makes it go soggy faster. Like I like the taste enough.
To be real, I don't even like cereal that much. Like cereal's fine. But like most times it's like the sort, like, you know how I think I've talked about this before, where it's like there's a lot of stuff that like I'll kind of want to do, but it, like if there's even the smallest barrier, I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore at all. Like that happens to me a lot with food, where it's like I want to order food, and then it's like my card is on the other side of the room. I'm not doing it. I give up. And that's what cereal is to me, where it's like cereal is just like it's just that much effort for a thing that I don't like that much that it's just not worth. I'd rather do more to have a better breakfast than to do the little bit to get a like, okay, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at with cereal.
Yep. And speaking of cereal, from Discord, first question from Sardi is, I need you to make a tier list of breakfast food.
Oh my
Make
God.
sure to include pancake and waffles. This will have to be like, you know, a little bit broad.
Speed
we don't
round.
have, breakfast sausage all the way at the top. That's
yeah, I agree with that.
Tip tops, better than bacon. I will
Yes,
I mean, I like
yes.
bacon for its versatility.
I
and
mean,
that,
bacon's
like,
fine. I talked about this a little
yeah.
bit in the last podcast where it was like I used to hate bacon, like just full
Mm.
stop. But now, like, it's fine in the context of other things. I'm realizing,
I'm
and
fine with bacon still in general, but yeah,
but I'm saying I don't.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm
I
just
prefer it as
mostly
a
mid
complimentary
on.
item for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
mostly mid on like pork in general, but I'm not like outright against it. Like a lot of people are for different reasons, you know.
Right.
Like if I can have an option to not have pork, that's what I'm going to do. um
Interesting.
yeah, so like
Yeah, I don't feel
even
that
like
way.
breakfast sausage, if I can like get specifically beef breakfast sausage or turkey sausage or something, like I'll get that before pork.
Interesting. What's so different to you, just like flavor wise,
I
over
don't know,
turkey
pork just
sausage
makes
or
me
something?
feel sick. It just makes my stomach
Okay.
hurt.
I mean,
It's like-
that's super valid. I mean, for even more than just taste reasons for you.
yeah.
I mean, we're definitely going to disagree on some things in this tier list, but
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, like in general, like for all things, yeah.
Stuff that's garbage for me.
Yep.
I think is the easier way since we
That's-
can't like
that
outright
works.
do a tier list. Like we could do like the
right.
best things and the worst things. Stuff that's garbage for me. I don't like grits. Grits hard trash.
100% agreed.
None of that. It's something that I know you're going to disagree with, and I know most people are going to disagree with. I'm not down with eggs.
I remembered that.
Too.
Yeah, I
of it.
do disagree with that, but that's. I mean, I'm fine with that opinion.
Yes.
But then again, even within that, there's a very large range of good eggs.
There's
to
a
bag
lot
eggs.
of different. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to make eggs. Never had a way to make eggs that I like, not a single time, other than like it being an ingredient and a thing that is very much so not like decisively not eggs.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like you gotta have eggs to make cake. You know, like it's just a.
What about like
chemistry
in like ramen or whatever? Sometimes they'll have
no, take the egg
fried
out. I don't want it. I don't need it.
Okay, I'm gonna tier just for everybody that's not you. I'm gonna tier list eggs from best to worst. Easy or over easy, somewhere towards the top. Poached, also somewhere towards the top. Omelets, somewhere towards the top. And then kind of moving down, scrambled eggs, if there's stuff in them, is better than scrambled eggs with no stuff in them. Sunny side up is also a little bit closer to the top. And then as we're moving down to the bottom, like hard-boiled eggs are the bottom of the list for me. I used to love them. I ate too many of them, I guess, when I was 8 or something, and then I stopped liking them. And then there's probably more, but that's how I feel about eggs.
As far as the whole waffles, pancakes, all that stuff, we did that where it was like waffle. That's what originally started this whole thing. Where it was like, who even started this? I don't remember who started it, but it was waffle. I said my tier list for waffles, pancakes, crepes, so on and so forth, like that whole thing. I said waffles, then French toast, then crepes, then pancakes.
Okay.
But like crepes and French toast for me is like kind of interchangeable. I can take or leave either one of those.
So
but
here's
the only ones that I have a hard opinion on is pancakes being the worst thing and waffles being the best one.
So the only exceptions that I would make to that for me is the concept that I mean, first of all, lived in Belgium for a long time, and waffles is Belgium. They're very different from what we call Belgian waffles here, but they're great. So still top of the tier list and stuff. But if it's just like me making breakfast stuff at home or whatever between waffles and pancakes, the only benefit that pancakes have to waffles for me is they're easier, but also waffles are bigger, so I can have a little bit less variety of things to put in them versus having like 5 pancakes that I put blueberries in some, chocolate in some, whatever. But I can put things on top of waffles, so it kind of it evens out in the end as far as that goes.
And if you're gonna, but like if that's what you're gonna do, like if you're gonna like have a lot of different pancakes with a lot of different things on them, you could literally just have 2 waffles because you're eating it all at the same time anyway. Like so it's not like you can be like, I don't want to put like I want to have a strawberry waffle, but I also want a banana waffle. You know, like just put the strawberry and the banana on the same waffle. You know, like,
I mean, you can split them up half and half even if you want. It works.
Like,
you know, that's how it works. So, yeah, indeed, I agree. There it is. Waffles are better than pancakes. Bigfoot Boudreaux said Xbox Game Pass is great, but it seems like it'll inevitably have a price increase. If and when that happens, would you rather, number 1, pay $5 more for whatever plan you have, or number 2, keep the keep the current price for a with ads version that requires you to watch a 1-minute ad for every hour of gameplay, or however that would work, plus pop-up ads on loading screens. I know, I hate this question too. Edit. I asked this before. I saw the Xbox Live price jump, but hooray, now my question is topical. That's amazing.
Nice. Yeah, I think that we're definitely going to see price increases because that's how subscription services work. Where like the whole conceit is that they want to get as many users in the door as possible. So like in the future, they can further monetize that user base in some way. A lot of times what they'll do is what like the Netflix model of like, okay, it's been a year. We invested $3 billion in content every month or whatever. So we're going to need more money. I mean, they don't, but they, you know, that's what they're going to say. Because really what they're going to do is use the additional money to invest more to further balloon until they get to a certain point where they can like cap it out. But what I think it's going to be very similar with Xbox Game Pass, where it's like, hey man, we now have 500 games and this many users or whatever. Price is going up $5 a year or whatever, or month even. And then that's just what it is. It's like, we'll offer you more games eventually or better games or whatever. But right now it's more money, and that's just what it is. We're not going to offer you anything quantifiable immediately. It's just this service is already so good. It's worth more money than you're paying for it. I don't think that they're going to do with ads. But if they did, I wouldn't pay for that. I'm already the type of person where it's like, I don't watch Hulu, but I pay for Hulu with ads. I mean, without ads, because when I do watch Hulu, I don't want to watch ads. I pay for YouTube Premium. I mean, I watch YouTube a lot, but like I pay for YouTube Premium because even though the option's there to like not to have ad blocker, I rather support the people that I watch. So like for me, the with ads option's not really an option. And that like extends to everything, like even apps. Like if there's a game that I downloaded Among Us, didn't even see how it plays with ads. I immediately paid the money to eat the ads.
I think for me, it, I mean, depends on like current just life budget and stuff in general. You know, if it's $20 a month instead of $15 a month, then, you know, we'll just see how that goes. But if it came down to a budget crunch between those things, I would probably end up just doing the $20 a month one just for intermittent amounts of months. Because like, I think there's just going to be times where it's like, yeah, I'll probably want to play Xbox a bunch right now. And then like, if there's some Switch games that are out that I'm really investing all my time into, then I can just skip a month and then come back later and not care, you know? So I bet that's probably what I would end up doing. But yeah, I think I do wonder how the with ads kind of thing would go. I feel like they wouldn't want to do that because it's less guaranteed money in, you know, if they're already getting money from people and they can just up it and people are used to that.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. It feels like a loot box sort of situation where it's technically it's more potential for money. So I could see them. I could definitely see them doing the ad thing. Yeah. Because they already sort of monetize with ads.
Yeah. Continuing on. Duncan said, Merry weekend. With the knowledge that Ultimate is probably the biggest / wildest that Smash will ever get, where do y'all think the franchise will be in a couple of generations? Reboot the series, let it go out in a triumph, and move on to something else?
I think they're, and I've talked about this before, I think they would go back to the drawing board mechanically. And focus more on, because at the end of the day, like people, like the casuals are the bulk of the consumer base by the numbers, like the amount of money that's being spent on the game in the life of the game. But at the end of the day, most of those consumers are going to buy Smash Brothers, whatever it is, you know, as long as it has like a decent amount of like reach for like the franchises that are in it, they're going to buy it regardless. But they do have to like try to appease the more competitive players. That's why with Smash 4, they were like, hey man, we kind of messed up on Brawl. This is more like Melee. And then Ultimate, they even more so did that. And like, this is even more like Melee. And we're going to pay Melee or we're going to fly Melee players out and have them showcase the game and have them do tournaments and stuff with other like professional Smash Brothers players in the current games and stuff. I think they're going to go further down that rabbit hole of like inching more and more to like the idea of Melee. I think the whole thing is going to be like, we're cutting the roster in half, but because of that, it's way more balanced. And we're changing up mechanics, and like we're really doing the like from scratch thing with every character. Mario's neutral B is no longer fireball. What's it now? Who knows? You know, like that sort of thing. I think that's what they would do with the next game.
I feel like it's either that or live service. That's kind of the only ways they can go, you know.
Like if they could very much so just Ultimate is the game and they add more to that, but even that I think could be complicated because like it's still technically a new release, so they couldn't just do the whole thing of like we're just going to keep Ultimate, because Square Enix could very much so be like, nah man, this is a new console, either you got to redo the contract or we're yeeting Cloud and we're yeeting Sephiroth, you know, like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of it does depend on just what the third-party relations are like in the first place, and then if they can feasibly make that happen, then that's one thing. But like, yeah, at some point, if you have everybody could be back except for 3 characters, that's kind of a harder pill to explain and swallow in some regards than, you know, than like we're starting from scratch. I mean, that's harder in the sense that like, oh, we're, you know, everybody's going away, but at least then it means.
But
that,
also
like
that's the expectation, and it's always been the expectation. Like Ultimate, I don't think has ever been like in anybody that like is reasonable at all when they think about video games, like even a little bit, you know. I think most people don't expect this to happen again.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yep. Amandowski said, if you were a type of chip, which type would you be?
I don't know. Barbecue, because I'm like sort of abrasive, but not entirely. You know what I mean? So like I'm not like a spicy chip.
Or I was gonna say like for this isn't necessarily you, but for somebody that like might be a more spicy person, but like once you get to know them, you get more used to them kind of thing. Like, yeah, like maybe Bob. There's spicier chips that like if you eat like hot Cheetos or something like that. Yeah. At first it's like, whoa, what's going on? But then like 20 Cheetos
like,
in, you're like,
this ain't no
this
thing.
doesn't even taste like anything, you know, like not in a bad way, but just like that, you know, you get used to it and it's familiar and it's nice. So I think there's some,
because at the end of the day, it's not like I'm not like a hole. It's just I'm blunt, you know, or it's like I'm not going to say anything that I think is going to like hurt your feelings or whatever, but I'm going to be honest. And usually it's from a place of like trying to improve a situation, not trying to be like ill-willed in any way, where it's like I'm not going to dance around people's feelings if I feel like I need to tell them like, hey, this will make you better in some way.
And that's what barbecue chips do. They make you better in some way.
Exactly.
There it is.
And for that reason, I don't know, wait, what's like a like, you're like, no, I was going to say like sour cream and onion because it's like, but at the same time, no. Like, what's a people pleaser chip? Like a chip that just like everybody likes, base level. Because it's not like, I don't want to say original because that's boring, and I don't think you're boring.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel you. I mean, I would say barbecue for that kind of reason too. No, maybe not everybody likes barbecue, but that seems like pretty
you're honey barbecue one. You're honey barbecue.
Okay, yeah. Same kind of vibe, but
barbecue. Yeah.
Barbecue honey. I was talking to somebody recently who was going through a hard time, and they were going through a breakup, which sucks. And saying, and I was asking like the other person was being a turd to them and stuff that had broken up with, or that they broke up with and stuff. And they were saying that like, well, because I was asking, how would it feel like just if you just had to cut ties knowing that they don't really like you right now or that they're mad or something like that? And they were saying like, well, it sucks because like no one dislikes me. And I was like, oh no, you can't think that. I'm like, I had to come to terms with that a very long time ago, that's an expectation I had of myself for a long time. But like, I am positive that there's, even if I feel like, oh, they just don't understand me right, which like, maybe they don't, maybe they do, and they still dislike me, but that's fine.
I mean,
you know?
I think that there's definitely people that just don't like the type of person that most people just on a base level don't dislike. Yeah. You know, like there's something to dislike about that.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah. So that's always an interesting thing. So all that to say, for everybody listening out there, you know what, just you're you, and some people will appreciate that, and some people won't appreciate it as much as they probably should, but that's okay because we appreciate you.
Yes.
Probably, you know.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you suck, but like chances are you don't. You know.
Dat Boy Cam 5 said, if you could only get Mario 3D World with Bowser's Fury, which you haven't played at all before, or Age of Calamity, what are your thoughts on one versus the other?
1000% Mario 3D World. 1000%. Like 1000%. Because in my head, the only real value to Age of Calamity you can get from watching YouTube videos. Because like the reason why I would recommend Age of Calamity to everybody, like I currently would, that likes Breath of the Wild, is because then you get more context of the world and blah blah blah. But 3D World is just the like more recommendable game.
I mean, 3D World is the honey barbecue in this case, you know.
Exactly.
Whereas like Age of Calamity, I think, you know, it's enjoyable, and there's people that's the thing for you. But if you don't know between those two, I feel like you would probably want to know specifically, Age of Calamity is a thing that I'm interested in. Otherwise, there's a bigger chance of being disappointed. Whereas with 3D World, I feel like that's a lot less likely. You know, you're probably just gonna be happy with it. So I agree. Cowboy asks, what are the top 5 gaming studios you think Nintendo should acquire and why? This can be a joint list or 5
Let's
each.
do joint. We'll do joint. Bandai Namco, because
level 5.
Yeah.
I would say.
Who else?
I mean, we could easily say some
Platinum.
of them, like, right. And like ones like Camelot or something like that, where they kind of, you know,
Game Freak.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't
know. Let's just say Sega. There it is. I said
there it is.
Out loud
Sega.
For the whole world to hear and judge.
There was like people were like talking about how much Bandai Namco's worth and all those stuff. They're not worth that because of their games. Like if Nintendo just bought their gaming division, it would not cost that much money.
Yeah. Yeah, probably just because of their like resources and
and also I wasn't saying like
stuff.
they buy them tomorrow. I'm just saying like if they were to buy another company or acquire another company, because that doesn't always just mean outright capital. Like acquisitions are more complicated than just like throwing $40 billion at somebody, you know. But
that would be a very interesting thing though, because like Bandai also has all of the like, you know, the shonen games and stuff like that, and having those be like Switch exclusive or something would be.
I think that, but that's an asset that I think could be sold elsewhere, you know, or just returned.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what I mean, like by the acquisition, where it's like they buy their games division and then the license would it could transfer over to them if they want it, but then they could also sell that off to somebody else.
Yeah. No, but I mean, they Bandai does so much stuff with the Nintendo that it's like, that would be a good one. Grimane, what would you call it? What would you call an animal that's a cross between a horse and a lion? Horion, a Leors,
a Lurse.
Lionors. I feel like it would end up just being long like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lenores.
A hose. Probably a hose.
No.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a blow pop?
492.
If this is a personal thing for me, probably like 8. I cannot like lollipops or whatever in general. Like I'll lick it for a little bit and then pretty quickly I'll be like, oh well, I guess I just crunched the whole thing. And then
I'm not. See that you're the freaking owl. That I wouldn't even have guessed that. Like you're like a way more patient person than that for me, because I wouldn't even do that.
I think it's because I care more about like texture and like crunching kind of feeling than I do specifically about the flavor. Like I get kind of bored probably by the flavor itself after, you know, I don't want like green apple for 30 minutes or whatever if there's no variety to it, but the crunch is like, crunch. So not a lot. Will Scootish ever learn how to play Smash?
No.
What does it sound like when doves cry?
Caw!
Oh, it warms my heart. And how many Sakurais can dance on the head of a pin?
4.5.
Yep, 24 and a half dozen more. I don't know. Mega Man, why is Pokemon Snap going to be the game of the year?
Because every other game is going to get delayed until 2022.
You heard it here first, folks. And lastly, AJ, I guess a different AJ.
Imposter, fight me 101, coward.
AJ Bicycle said some DSi games have animated icons on the DS home screen, and some change color when you beat or 100% the game. That Switch games, when you 100% the game. What Switch games wouldn't you like to see have animated icons or icons that change depending on a player's point in the game?
I mean, I guess games that matters for, like Breath of the Wild or whatever. But like, I also want to add that I don't want to I don't want them to hard dedicate resources, like hardware resources to that.
Yeah.
But like, if I can see like how much shrines I got or whatever by highlighting over Breath of the Wild, that'd be cool.
Yep. Honestly,
how many Pokemans I got or whatever.
I can see that being a cool thing, but I could also see risk there in terms of like either that it's like a achievements kind of thing where like Nintendo specifically doesn't do achievements because then it incentivizes you to play the game in a way that maybe you wouldn't want to, which I think is I think that's kind of the far on the other side. I think there's a good middle ground, basically, is what I'm saying. But there could be a thing like that where it's like, I didn't want to get the 100, all of the 100% on Breath of the Wild and get all the Korok seeds. But if you want that front page thing to change, then you're going to do it. And then it's like, you end up being frustrated with the game because those kinds of things. The other I don't remember what the other part I was going to say was, but same kind of a gist where like, there could be some side effects of that would be maybe undesirable, but also it'd be cool. So yeah. I'm fine with it in theory.
Nice. Well, I'm fine with the podcast being over now, in theory.
Indeed. To close it up, let's ask a question to the people for you to answer in the comments, because I believe it was Alec, if I remember right, said that he missed when we asked questions at the end for people to answer. So we're doing it now.
Oh, like the orange, the color, or the
just like
fruit?
that. Why is that always the one that sticks in our mind? Like we only asked that once, but like that's
I don't know, because that's like the type of question in it, like chicken and egg.
Yeah, right.
That's what you mean. Like
Oh well, okay. Let's just turn the question back around on you guys. What kind of chip would you be and why?
Nice. There it is.
Because we want to know.
Also, what type of chip would we be?
Yeah.
What type of chip would you be, and what type of chip do you think we would be? Let us know in the comments.
Know.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. If your mom has Amazon Prime, or your dad, or your cousin, or your uncle, ask them if they watch Twitch. And if they do, tell them to give their Prime subscription to fanatixfour. And if they don't, ask them if they will let you do it. Okay. Goodbye.